Hey, welcome back to the Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. Direct eye contact. Let's make a meaningful relationship here. It is the 17th of November. We have 10 centimeters of snow here out in Montreal. It's actually quite nice. We woke up and it was winter suddenly. And I'm honestly ready for it, I think. How's everyone else doing? Hopefully you're doing well. It's a Thursday. No video up on the channel technically this week. Well, we did stream last weekend. We're going to stream again this weekend. We're going to be streaming the Eternal event Saturday morning. Hopefully you can join for that. Direct eye contact? No, please. How's it going? Hey, Xran. You like the Nemec stream? I still got to go back and finish it up. Even learn some rules. What rules did you learn? I was just going through like the Nemec cards. Part of me wants to do a stream where like very sloppily we go through and review every single card. Now, obviously that's not going to, not going to do, it's going to be a fast one, but I feel like it would be really fun because it's 1,000 cards and you don't get to see a lot of new designs. And I feel like that's the fastest way to see a lot of designs quickly. I kind of want to do that. Let me know if you think that's cool. Hey, Andre, feels like it's been a lot lately. What do you mean? Just in general, it's been a lot. I hope you're doing okay if that's the case. Hoping for snow someday in the PNW. I don't know what the PNW is, fun guy. How's it going though? Yeah, snow's been okay. It's been fine. I haven't had to really go outside yet. You can only forfeit from your score area? Yeah, so inherently card text is only active in your score area. Like agendas don't have text in the runner score area, or they don't have active text in the runner score area. So you can't, did you think, wait, oh, Pacific Northwest, perfect. I'm surprised there's no snow there. Did you think you could just like res an archer from an agenda in the runner square area? Xran? That'd be wild. My kids were very excited for when it was abruptly winter. Ottawa went from summer weather to snow super fast. Yeah, that was the same with us. Like we just woke up one morning. I guess it was not that hot, but it was just like, here's 10 centimeters of snow. I hope you're ready. Hope you have your winter tires. Cole, how's it going? I think your Frankenstein video was pretty fun. What a weird card. Baba Yaga is like legitimately a card that's going to be missed. And I love cards like this that are not inherently, overbearing cards. I think we did get some really good matchups. I was really worried I was going to have to grind that video for a long time until we figured out a list, or we figured a matchup in which we could show this off, because it's really slow and it's really inefficient. It's kind of laughable to try and do something like this when you can just pay 8 credits for an endurance modernly. But it's cards like this that, like, when it rotates eventually next year, that, entire archetype falls apart, which, you love cards like this, even if they're not good. They're just always fun to look at new icebreakers and be like, what does that do to Baba Yaga? Jemison really good when he sacked the runner's agendas. How's it going, Sanjay? It's a bit better, yeah. No, to forfeit is to choose a card from your score area. Ixer, I still don't know what the misunderstanding is. Hey, Giles, how's it going? Hello, NetSwaggers. Hey, Cactus as well. Good evening. How you doing? I just mean a lot of stuff from you with the Eternal stream in the last one. Yeah, that's the thing. It's been like a lot of weekends of Netrunner content. I haven't got out a gameplay video, but it's been like 2 weekends ago we did a stream. Last week we did a stream. This weekend we're doing a stream. So it's been a bit more content than normal. In some ways, it's not like recorded content. It's not good content. Hey Izzy, how's it going? I saw your message. I haven't responded yet. I'll get to it tonight. Hopefully you're doing well. I already missed Brahmin. Was fun to try to make it work. Thanos, how you doing? Brahmin is unfortunately a card that, like, I think modernly, and for the while that this existed, you could have played this with Prognostic Q Loop and done something actually kind of nice. But I never got to it. And I think a big part of it is that it was a Shaper card. And that generally slows me down a wee bit. But like, I feel like this is an archetype that I never truly explored. I think similarly to this, we did spend some time, this is going to work, to try the Deva archetype on channel before, which is, same kind of cycle. And this was unplayably bad. This is really hard to do. You thought this would work, but then, I don't know. I was a bit upset about last week's stream because we thought for 1 minute, for 1 second, we thought we can make a big deal deck. No joke, the deck list of the week this week is a big deal deck, but we thought big deal would be our win condition. Which, like, if you've played Netrunner for at least maybe 2-3 months, you'd realize very quickly how bad of an idea that was. But that didn't stop us. And I feel like that worries me. And that kind of makes me like want to reevaluate everything I'm doing with just a bit more scrutiny, because I don't think it had to happen like this. At least Pow is excited, I guess. I just did a lore dive on Baba Yaga to make a Vasilisa alt, and it makes me happy that ever to see Baba Yaga, to see the card mentioned. Yeah, I don't exactly know okay, so what I know about Baba Yaga itself is Slavic folklore. Baba Yaga is a witch type character. I think that she has a house that is on crow's feet, like or chicken feet. It's on legs, and then she rides like a pepper mill. I don't think she is portrayed as being evil. I think she's like I would say somewhere between the chaotic neutral and like evil neutral, or I forget what the right quadrant is called. It's not exactly a quadrant. And I know Vasilisa is meant to be like the beautiful something or other. No task the witch said would ever be too great for Vasilisa had her mother's blessing. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I need to read into it, but it's not something that showed up in like Slovenian folklore, as Slavic as it is. So I don't know too much. I got to look into it. Hey, Muppeteers, good evening. Happy to catch a stream. Glad you're here too. Hopefully your evening is good. We're just starting. It's going to be a fun one. Who's in? How's it going? Yo, Jeff, thanks for playing on Sunday. I'll see you on Saturday as well, I guess. And the Sunday before that. Panic Palana, that's what we're going to try to do. Yeah, I think to some extent. Like, this is, again, maybe I just talked about how I was upset that we thought Big Deal would work, and we probably shouldn't have made a Big Deal only deck. But the deck list of the week, which we'll be playing in a second, came first at Italian Nationals, and it's interesting. It's an AgInfusion list, but it's not the AgInfusion list from Worlds. It's just like a Big Deal list. It has Big Ice and Data Loop and no punitive or anything, but it has Obacadas. It's running small agendas, or sorry, small amount of agendas. I'm clicking on stuff and it's not doing anything. And then I want to see what we can do just to make like mid-range Jinteki function. I think it's going to be the same similar type of stream where we get like 2 games in and we realize we just lose to endurance. I'm hoping if that's the case, you know, like cards like Anansi are pretty good if we can afford one of those. Anoetic Void is still pretty good into the meta that we're playing into. I think whatever the Hyobu Precog Manifold is probably a bit underplayed for how good that archetype is. And then maybe instead of Big Deal, we just play Seamless Launch and we just build like a rushy Jinteki deck. And I think it'll probably be okay. I don't think it'll be too bad. Vasilisa got her glowing skull staff from her. Baba Yaga is very chaotic neutral in that story. She like swings. She has different moods. In some stories, she's just gonna be lawful good. She's gonna be, I don't know what lawful good people do, obeying laws. Miracle Mammoth. This came first at Italian Nationals. It is a national season, mind you. It's upon us. We're seeing so many deck listings coming up of like nationals finish, which is really good if you want to see like what competitive Netrunner looks like in a really the post-Worlds meta, which is really cool because you'd assume that you'd see all the decks that were doing really well at Worlds to be the same decks you see for the next little while. And obviously the meta adjusts, people adapt. You are seeing people taking top-ish results or good results with stuff like, you know, Freedom with Boat, all that sort of stuff. But it's cool to see like a pretty new archetype. I've never seen these cards combined together in a way. Also, two Bathonimus, a faction staple. So I'm excited to see that. But obviously we're going to have new cards coming out in a bit. And on top of that, when it comes to new cards, Null Signal reached out and they said we're going to have some spoilers to talk about. What can I say about them? Spoiler season will be late November. There's no solid date yet, but Michael said there'd be an article soon. So just watch out for Null Signal Games website. They'll tell you like when the spoiler season is. And it looks like we're going to be having Wayland cards this time, which is always been the personal wish, and I'm super excited about them. The Wayland stuff we've seen so far has been like really good, and specifically with Mutually Assured Destruction. I haven't seen the cards yet. I'm really excited to see what Wayland is doing. So we're gonna have scoops relatively soon. Like we're more than halfway through November, and late November it's gonna be there. Gotta get the daily cast guests lined up. Oh yeah, that's true. That's back on. Man, daily cast is really fun. That's always really nice to tune into. Is there a roadmap or list somewhere announcing when the next set is coming out from SG? Yeah, Muppeteers. It's beginning of December. I think it's December 12th or somewhere around that. They made a post on their website that shows like, it's not like a very, like this is a release date thing, but they show you kind of their, I guess is it a Gantt chart? They basically show their production update. So you see these charts. And so you can see kind of tentative dates of where things look like. And it looks like early December. I do think they had to delay by a week for some reasons, but yeah, it's going to be like within a month. So it's going to be really soon. So that's pretty cool. The forfeit stuff I looked up because of that 3-1 from Nemec. Y'all were talking about the one with the forfeit for clicks. Yeah, that one's specifically different because that identity said our agenda text was active in the runner square area. So I see. Yeah. Those agendas are really good. I think Nemec has already made a comment saying like, hey, that 4-2 has been changed since. And yeah, I kind of get it. That's a weird thing though. Is like, it's hard sometimes, right? Like agendas, it's an agenda that's like so disgustingly good in the ability, but outside of the ability, I don't know if it's massively playable. It probably still is. Hey, Janktivist, happy Thursday. What's good? We playing some Netrunner Arkham tonight. You asked a question on Sunday, and I obviously couldn't get to it. If you want to still ask it, I'll answer it now. We're playing some Netrunner tonight. We're hoping we'll get Arkham tomorrow, but we haven't. Also, I got my Trove chest in like 2 days ago, which has kind of been like months into waiting, which has been really cool. I don't know if you got in on that train, but it showed up slightly damaged, like advertised, but honestly, not as bad as I thought it'd be. It's already fixed. I feel like I'm almost more excited to see what the ob lore is than the ob mechanics. I love the ominous grind, the earth to dust. Yeah, I have no idea if we're gonna see like more continued lore with some of the characters from that we've seen from earlier lore stuff. I know that there's like a bigger team now working on lore stuff and articles and all that, so I'm hoping for it. Yeah, getting team to the table in 5 minutes is dope. I still haven't done it yet because we're just because I'm basically waiting for the new Unbreakable stuff, and I've been really into Marvel Champions. That's kind of been hitting our table. It's been really fun. But yeah, I'm really excited to just pull out 2 things and play Too Many Bones. Hey, Kat, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Will you be streaming Arkham on this channel? I have once. I do think we can actually make a very compelling Arkham stream because I had a multi-camera setup with 2 computers attached to each other, and we did this once. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was April Fool's. It was like many, many months ago. You can find it on the channel if you look it up. And I think it turned out okay. We taught how to play Arkham Horror, the card game. I think I'd like to do it. I don't have a tabletop setup. It's something I want to do. It probably wouldn't be on this channel. If we actually wanted to spend more time doing Arkham, it would definitely be a different channel because I don't want to, muddy things where it's like, this is, I don't get that. Some people do it, and I think some people do it really well. But I generally think people who want to come here, as much as a large percentage of them do play Arkham, that this is where Netrunner is. Arkham question. Thoughts on a complementary mark / min deck for Carcosa complementary mark min decks? I think it's pretty easy. So min is like, you can play ultimate support min. I've heard people talk about like the hacker versions of min where you just kind of sit still and donate cards to everyone. So she has access to yellow and I think some red, if I'm not mistaken, or she has like a subtype. I think min is really, really good. I think there's a couple new cards that came out in Scarlet Keys that are specifically like cards you can commit to certain tests that are like fighting tests. I wonder if she can take them. Thoughts on complementary mark min? I think min is like one of the best supports because she can do anything. You're inherently like really encouraged to put a lot of wild icons into your deck, which are just very good with just about anybody. If you can play a bit of yellow healing, there's that that's very good, especially horror healing as well. You can play that one that's like remove a horror card or heal 2 horror, whatever it is, the yellow one from like Dunwich. I don't think you have to do much for min. I do think min is just like ultimately a fantastic support. If you're getting extra card draw off of a unique card, you can get extra card draw off of that accessory that gives you an additional icon if you want to do it. I think she's just absolutely fantastic. I think you can go very easily the scavenge engine if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's it. I think Mark is really, really good with the runic axe that's new because he can heal. Have you played more Snap? Got my interest last week. It's very shiny. I have played a bunch more Snap. I'm just hitting pool 3. Snap is really good. Maddie has gone into Snap now. It's just kind of a very easy game to play. And I think there's a lot of really smart design in it. Again, I'm not genuinely a Marvel buff. I never read the comics really besides Spider-Man. And I don't know the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the card game behind it's actually really good. I just remembered you mentioned that you were having fun making your own Netrunner set months ago. Did you get a hold or are you still plinking away with it? It's definitely on hold. I would love to be able to show y'all what it is. There's been some like really cool revelations since the last set dropped with Midnight Sun. Firstly, I think exactly 1 card that I printed was basically a card that showed up in Midnight Sun. I made a version that was a connection that didn't take net damage, but it was just the text on Panweave. Not the most interesting card, but it's funny to see the card almost directly reprinted with the same influence cost and everything. I never finished the set. I think it'd be easier to build the set now because my shaper that I was building thematically was a juggler. And so they were getting charge counters when they ran certain servers, and then the things did something when they were caught. And putting amount of text on a single card to make that archetype, to make that idea fit, was actually near impossible. And now with charge being a mechanic that I'm hoping at some point, maybe to some extent can show up on a Netrunner card without the explanation text, it would actually fit on a single card. So that actually would be pretty good because it was really hard to say like, when you install this, place a power counter. Then if there are more than 3 power counters, do this. Like there's ways to do it with the charge mechanic, which is really good. What have I missed? Nothing, D-Line. How's it going? We're just about to play the deck list of the week. I had to delete the Snap off of my devices. Is putting too much time into it. It's like, I hear you. That is genuinely an issue. And I've heard that from Maddie. The fact that the games are 3 minutes for me means that I generally play like 4 or 5 and then I'm done. Like I generally never want to play Snap for an hour because the fast games, it kind of just gets to me. Like I do my dailies and that's it. But it's the sort of thing where if I have like 3 or 6 minutes, I will try and get a Snap game if I'm just like waiting for something. And that's probably not healthy, maybe. Pool 3, you've definitely been playing it. I hit rank 40 this morning, so I've been pretty grinding hard since I started last week. So I just got to my first Pool 3 character last night. I think it was the 3 for 7. This says your opponent draws 2 cards. I'm pretty sure that's a Pool 3 card. I think either that or it's the last Pool 2 card. I'm basically at the cusp. I know that. I was grinding rank a bit more before. last month, the first month that I really cared about rank because I was new to the game. And then since then I've stopped because I just wanted to play more cards and build more decks, just so it's faster to, it feels like it's faster to upgrade your collection the more different things you play. So right now I'm just playing some terrible decks. Like I'm playing a movement deck, which is really nice and fun in pool 2, but then you play with the new location that says 2 people fight and then it's garbage. Don't do it. And it's kind of been downhill. So I'm not actually gaining ranks. I'm just staying steady mid 30s, but I haven't been really trying. So I have to. Pool 3 is collection level 450. I think it's like 427, and I think I'm like 428, somewhere around there. I looked it up. Hey, Macaroni, I guess I'll make my main posting platform now that Twitter's in the death throes today for breakfast. I can get you verified, Macaroni, if you want. It's only $7. It's actually pretty affordable. There's already a card without charge reminder text, Stoneship. But Stoneship isn't a charge card, right? I just searched Sengrin. Endurance is not a... Wait, what? Stoneship? Chart room? Wait, firstly, that's the first time you've ever said Stoneship in your life. Secondly, you're right. I see what you mean. I was thinking Endurance. Yeah, I guess it does say charge without saying what charges. Sick. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought about Endurance. It's like everyone does. Quick Hack look really cool. Do you feel like you got to see that mechanic to its fullest potential? Got to see it to its fullest potential? Definitely not. Like, Sengrin played like 2-3 Quick Hack cards. One of them was actively wrong to play because we were just trying to see the new cards. I think Quick Hack is a really cool idea. I think Netrunner and a lot of card games, I think Netrunner specifically has kind of moved away, and there's a lot of parts in the history of the game where I didn't like that, where it was just like, does your opponent have it in hand, the counter spell, whatever. That was mostly currents, and I never loved that. I think Quick Hacks could be really, really cool. And I like the idea that they give you flexibility mid-run as a surprise. I think the closest thing we saw to it is an original or Netrunner from 96. There was cards that were resources that runners could play that were installed face down, and you flip them when they hit certain conditions. It's not exactly a quick hack because you don't have to spend a click on them, but that's sort of like unknown information, the street peddler, the gachapon. There's ways to do that that are not quick hack, but I do think quick hack is cool. It comes at a real cost for sure. Hey, Ultra Mega, brand new Netrunner here. Welcome. Your videos have been so great for stepping out beyond learning the core mechanics of the game and understanding how the strategy works. Thanks so much. Hey, cheers. It's really kind to hear that. I'm glad it lines up that way. That's kind of what we're aiming for. If you have any questions, firstly, welcome to the game. Say hi to people here. Obviously get involved in Discords and stuff like that, but ask questions if you have any. GFC, I delete a log vault and then he called me out. Amazing. That's really funny. It looks like under energy comp rules, you could forfeit from the opposing score area if the ability was active. FFG clarified you must choose a card from your score area. I feel like that might be attached to the endless hunger rulings. Who was doing this again? But they showed up to Worlds and tried to endless hunger away your opponent's cards. But then it was added explicitly to the rules that you cannot pay the costs of abilities without using your own cards or resources. So you can't trash a corpse installed card to break one. Was that Zach? I feel like that might have been Zach. Sacrificing cards you don't control feels very backwards, so I suppose it doesn't matter since it's not a thing in the game. Yeah, you can't do it. And I think that's the blanket ruling. It's like you can't use the corpse credits to pay for credit costs because they're not your credits. And I don't know if that was explicitly a rule in the game. It definitely is now. Okay, let's do the Zach. Oh, I feel like teeth squeaking. I'm not 100% sure that it wasn't in the rules at the time. I feel like it wasn't in the rules. A lot of the usual jerkers were involved that I heard it from Dandy. Yeah, that was it was kind of a meme story at the time. Apex was almost good and the judges had to ruin it. Oh man, imagine you showed up to one tournament and you, like, years after Apex has come out and you actually figured out how to play Apex well. Speaking of playing Apex well, the Netmate cards made Apex busted good. That was pretty oppressive. Okay, it's an AgInfusion list. It's not the AgInfusion list you might have been afraid of for the last couple months in the JNet lobbies. But it has AgInfusion's ability, which is a very good ability. We have 17 influence, and we can redirect people. So inherently, when the runner hits an unresed piece of ice, instead of resing it, you can trash it to make them approach. Hold on. The runner's now encountering an ice on a different server, the outermost. And that's really important that the term here is encounter. That's why it's important that I stalled so I could read the full text of the card, because that means that the ice that they're encountering isn't resed. You don't res on encounter, you res on approach. So ideally we want to get something that's big and scary on the outermost res, something like a Anansi, and then we just throw people into the Anansi. On top of that, we have Data Loop as our only barrier because Jinteki literally does not have barriers in faction. If it doesn't really count, does it? And then we have with Data Loop, which is kind of spiky, we have Protect our Obokata protocols, and then we score out agendas. That's it. We have 5-3 agendas and solid advance. We have a single anoetic. Okay. And then we have a lot of ice that just like really hurts folks. Just really hurts people. We have some snares, which is nice. If they hit one of these on a central server, we might have a scoring window for the Obokata. And then the last big thing here is the biggest deal, 10 influence on 2 big deals. And if we play this, we just have to get to 4 agenda points, and then ideally they don't clot us because we're playing an AgInfusion deck and we big deal out to win. That's it. That's it. There's no rule to say rogue AI can't play basketball. You can trash whatever you want. Who knows? Apex got 4th Italian Nats. I did see the deck, and I'm pretty sure it's an endurance deck, but I did see that there was a posting from an Apex deck doing well. I looked at the deck, and it didn't look like wildly different than anything else going on, besides obviously endurance is probably good enough to make anything playable. But it just looks, again, very maybe slow. Maybe Kangamata Gabali is good enough. Yeah, maybe this is fine. This does look kind of cool. It's wild that the worst Apex card turns out to be Apocalypse. Out of 4. Top 5 at least. Yeah, it did really well. 4th Italian Nats. I don't know how many players there were. I'd reckon more than 10. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Well done. People talk about why NEH got 17 influence, but why in the world did AgInfusion get 17 influence? I think Izzy, and I don't know. But why NEH got 17 influence, I honestly don't know. Why AgInfusion did, I think because at the time, this ability seemed less attractive than Palana, or replicating perfection might have still been legal at the time. And the idea is that everyone would just easily play Palana because it's a kind of an idea that you don't have to really think about, which is phenomenal. It's immense credits. And back then you were already playing like Nisei Mark II. You didn't really need this effect. And even for a while, that was the thought with AgInfusion. So I don't actually know. I don't know whether it's like a lore or flavor thing with the red sand cycle, but yeah, I honestly, I don't know. NEH's flavor, you reckon? Yeah, maybe. I guess so. Maybe. But yeah, 17 influence just made this a bit more attractive. If this was a 15 influence, I do think a lot of people would not have considered it, which is wild because it's obviously incredibly powerful, but it's there. Yeah, it's also weird how we only see numbers like 15 to 17, but that makes sense. I guess 16 doesn't really change anything. It's just kind of annoying. I think the best thing about it is it doesn't assimilate the endurance. The boat is so much worse when it starts to 0 counters. I have played Apex. I was trying to get footage on this channel and I assimilated an endurance and it came up with 0 counters and I basically snap conceded. I was like, hey, do you mind if I concede this one? Because I just spent a lot of money flipping an endurance over and it does nothing. You pay 8 credits for 3 counters, let me tell you. This is called Miracle Mammoth. AgInfusion. Also, the name AgInfusion, what does it mean? What element is AG? Is that gold? Is it meant to be gold infusion? AG is gold, right? AU is silver? No, it's the other way around. It's silver infusion. Okay, AU is gold. I've read a book. Agriculture. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense immediately. That's almost definitely correct. Yeah, okay. I see it. Yeah. That tracks. Can't fit the 3rd spin in? I did research on this recently, wondering if you could silver infuse foods, but no, that's toxic. Yo, some amount of metals is good, right? Hey, thanks. You too. Okay, we're against 419. I forgot that was a thing that could happen. I genuinely forgot this was a thing that could happen. So 419 is annoying. We definitely want to get something big on HQ. And in Anansi, we can res turn 1 if we install it, and that's all we do. But then our economy is a bit ruined. Oh, goof infusion. So that's a bit bad. Mind game is like not good enough on HQ because we can get diversion through this. And if we don't make this harder to run, they can always, what's it called? Just like force us to spend money. Now, that being said, AgInfusion inherently, it's a bit harder to diversion of funds because it's a run event. Whenever they run HQ, we can just say you're running archives, like as long as we trash and ice. Bathynomus, if they have, what's it called? Begalter, it's actually quite bad. If it's on our archives, it's like, okay. This hand is like not amazing. It's not the worst though. Regolith is like, we just need to stick a Regolith. 419 versus Palana, this will be a riot. This is exactly where you want to play Palana, I think. Twin rage meters. Yeah, we'll keep this. I don't know what our opening hand is, right? Like, I feel like we just show that there's a mind game in R&D, and then we install the Anansi and click twice. If they diversion of us, we just throw them onto HQ. The problem is, like, we need to stick the Regolith behind something. And, like, sticking it behind a Bathynomus is kind of trash. The mind game is not consistent enough. I do think we have Thimble Rigs in this list. Let me move this here so it's close. Yeah, so we just need a hard end the run. And the problem is, like, the deck runs very few end the runs. So you're largely banking on the fact that they're scared of things like, Anansi, stuff like that. Oh, our Singleton Anoetic is nice. It's just hard to protect it early with Pinhole Threading. And we're not going to ice up everything that well. So, yeah, I think we can just ice up everything. I don't know how we stick this on the table. We're running probably a lot of ice. A lot of the AgInfusion decks, well, only 17 ice. A lot of the AgInfusion decks were running like 18 to 20, just so dead ice has value in this ability because you can just trash it. So I will show them archives. That's the one I think we don't care if they expose this. And we want to ice up everything also to play around our friend the turtle. Now here, this is really bad because everything they can steal from HQ, if they're brave enough to not respect Tyson Tan, is kind of bad. So see, some people just, oh, face check. With flip switch? What? With flip switch, they can face check anything. Oh my god, we're going to lose to the singleton flip switch. Regolith, we lost that. This is really bad, y'all. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of 419. We've been actually very lucky over the last couple like weeks to not see 419 at all. They left the Regolith. That's really strange. Now, if we res the mind games, it doesn't actually do anything. Okay. So, boy. Rage meter hits too. Here we are going to have to... Look, y'all. I don't like playing this card. It is way too difficult to do this. And at the same time, retain composure and any amount of information that we've cleaned off of this. So Bacteria Programming shows us the top 7 cards of our deck, and we can do literally anything we want with them. Rearrange them, trash them, draw them, literally whatever you want. So that means we probably just Celebrity Gift with like a big old hand. Do we want to discard anything? I don't think so. Like I do not have the brain to do this at this. I didn't discard all of them, did I? No. I discarded all of them. I just discarded. I just discarded all of them. I thought I would. Thanks. All right. I thought I was reordering them. I really did think I was reordering them. And then it was like, which one do you want to add to HQ? I'm like, this feels like a trick question. Okay. My bad. Now you just try not to look bad. Okay. Discard any of them. That was a trick question. Choose to move HQ. Okay. So this is what we want. I've been there. All right. We want the snare. We're going to take the Celebrity Gift. That is our econ. And then we have a play here. So we could put an anemone out somewhere. Yeah, 7's too much. Like, who do they think I am? I'm going to remember 7 things. Like, no, come on. I don't know how you do it. I wish the UI for Bacteria was nicer. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's fine. It's very explicit if you read it, which I feel like that might be on me. I think we're done moving stuff. So what's the order here? We'll keep the that won't run twice. Anemone, spin anemone, something like that. Okay, it would have been hilarious to watch play those top 8 cards. No, I think that's the thing though, Macaroni. I think a lot of people don't trash cards with this, and a lot of times it's correct to trash cards with this. People don't. Like, I probably should have. Did I want to draw every single anemone? Literally, actually, yes. It's pretty good. Anemone is really good in this matchup. But like a lot of times you see like a Thimblerick. Like, I don't care. Like, just trash him. It also works for a Genesis, which is kind of cute. Okay, so Bathonimus is good. Nancy is good. Mind Game is mediocre. So I'm gonna ice up. We have to throw out a card. We have a Spin Doctor coming out. I don't know what to do here. Like, we want a Regolith behind the Anemone. I'm just gonna click for credit. We're probably gonna have to lose all our money to Nancy, but if they resident Nancy and then jack out, at least we have an ability here with our AgInfusion. Andre played Celebrity Gift. What does the world come to? Yo, it's a single one in the deck, and I was really excited to draw it. I was actually going to discard it, but then I realized we can just get all this free card draw. Boomerang on the Mind Game? That's totally fine. So this is like really risky for them. Like, we can, okay, hold on. We can't hit them with the Bathonimus, but if we res the Mind Game, then we have a res Mind Game. Is the res Mind Game worse? Okay, what is the text on this? The runner is now running on that server instead of passing. For the okay, see if you for the remainder of the run, the runner must add 1 stall card at the bottom to jack out. Oh, whoops, whoops. Oh, this is such a mess. Please. No fire. Oh, you can break that. Not a big fan of trashing to bacteria unless it's the corpse turn. No, I think trashing is good. There's a lot of stuff. No, it's all good. I'm fine with the res. Yeah, resing this means that we don't all have a boop anymore, which is not great, but they're going to get the dirty laundry no matter what. You don't look a celebrity gift horse in the math. So we know the top card of the deck. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, that's on me. What's the top card of the deck? It's a Spin Doctor. Yeah, so they're going to trash a Spin Doctor probably. But they're running last click, and we know this is. Like, this, we could put a snare on top. In theory, we have that power. Come on in. Yeah, this is a bit rough, right? Like, if this is anything scary, like, if that's an Anansi, they have to flip switch. I guess it's not the worst. But yeah, it's a mind game. So it's a side game, but they're just going to break it. And so now they see the top of the deck, which is a Spin Doctor. They can trash that if they want. We have another one coming up, so we don't mind too much. Putting them in HQ is almost strictly better. Decreases HQ density. You can still trash them on your turn. But that's only if you want to draw them. Like, if you... Oh, I see what you mean. Like, just you might as well add them to HQ. Yeah, it's very comparable. Yeah, there's not a big difference. Okay. So we know that there's a Spin Doctor on top of R&D. This is now rezzed. I think we're just going to push for money. We'll show what this is. They've seen this before, and they know our whole hand, so I'm not going to pay 1 to protect this. Then we'll put this on server 1, and I'm just going to res this to take 3 off of it. It's the same as clicking for credit, but they know what this is, and now it can be falsified. They only have 3 cards in hand. Now they can jack out, but they have to do this on approach to not take the Nancy, which is fine. We'll still have enough money. And once this is res, then we can always throw unres dice into the Nancy. Whoa, Botulus for 3 influence. We have a... Oh, dang, we know there's a Spin Doctor on top. Why they're going for singles very aggressively. We just need a second piece of ice here, I reckon. Ah, that's 2 Spin Doctors down. That's actually quite bad for us. Okay, it's a Rashida. We knew that was coming up. Okay, do we trash the mind game? I don't know if they're going to be on simul chips, so keeping the Botulus around is not an issue. It's not like Freedom. They can use the virus counters for something else. A single enemy will do 2 net damage. They can't really jack out. They can jack out to not take 3 net damage. And here's where, if we knew the rest of our deck, we'd actually be in a really okay spot. So I will install and I'll prevent one of these. We do know there's no agendas on top of R&D, so them getting singles is not like the end of the world. And we'll just take 6. Our next turn will probably be take 6 of this and then jam the Yoshida. But we really need to blow through this flip switch somehow. All right, that'll blow through the flip switch. So Nancy's res. So now our AgInfusion ability is alive and well, because anytime we'll throw them into this. Now, they can always jack out. Oh, you want to do this on approach. If you mash the move button, it will. Yeah, you can. So we did see their hand. I'm not going to look at it. But the idea is here, as long as they don't hit the button here that puts them on encounter, they can jack out on approach, because flip switch allows you to jack out at any point. Yeah, come on in. And then they won't take the damage, because Anansi says specifically if an encounter ends with this and they haven't broken all subroutines, so they just want to make sure that they don't encounter it. So they're gonna flip switch there. That's one of the few things. Now they can't inside job this card. Totally. Yeah, we both have paid abilities on approach. That's the only time we can res ice until I decide. Nope. After any paid ability priority ends, the opponent can always react. So after I res all my stuff, you still have a window. Putting them in an HQ almost straight. Oh, sorry, I just read that again. I'm not rules learning. No, that's good. That works fine. Okay, we have a hedge fund in hand. I do think now without the flip switch, we can just go ahead and put the Rashid in here. We know what we're going to draw into. I will prevent the expose. I don't think I need to prevent the expose here. They can go first and do all their paid abilities at once, but the other player can always respond. Yeah, if we pay 1 here, they might like try and inside job this, so I will pay 1. If we want to flip Reza, we played around Falsified, which might be nice. I don't know if it's worth it. Them gaining 4 credits on this board state is actually pretty good. Now, Falsified's not amazing against this deck. We only have, I guess we have NGOs and Vector and 5-3 agendas, but otherwise it's not like we're jamming. We're very jamming to their mode server. It's not like an HB matchup where there's a card in their mode server with a threaded seamless launch. Like, this is clearly not an agenda, especially if they know the list. Our Gate 3 liberated. Wow. Okay, so we've seen that's a lot of influence so far. That's a third of their influence. Rashida's going to get us again cards I think that we do strictly know. I think that Thimble Rig we didn't know. Okay, now we're on unknown cards, which is sick. Now, unfortunately, if we want to ice up the Anansi once again, that's actually kind of rough because it turns up our AgInfusion ability. Now, this is something they're going to have to fully break. They can't inside job it. They can't boomerang it. So I think that's okay. Now, the issue is we can get diversion of funds, but I don't see a world where the diversion of funds through Anansi is actually profitable for them. So I'm just going to push for their mode server. Now we have Saisentan into an Anemone. We could do a Thimble Rig for the end of the run. Amakua does deal with it. It's not like we're jamming anything here. I think if anything, we'd set up. We would probably install 2 cards. We would install an Anoetic. We'd install an Ice, and we'd probably just play Hedge Fund. We do need a fair bit of money in this deck because we have Big Deal. And then we can next turn install Advance. The question is whether we want the end of the run or the Saisentan. I'm going to just go for the end of the run. We have already 1 Sentry anyways. I never know when to play 419 in a deck like this. Oh, like when to pay the cost? So a lot of times, firstly, if there's Amakua, you almost always do it unless their Amakua is easy to get counters or is already a limited size. But the biggest thing is like, imagine you're on the other side of the table, right? Like, do you need to protect it? Also, sometimes it's worth protecting it when it's not the 419. Sometimes it's right to obfuscate things that are not worth obfuscating because then they might think different. When does 419 write out as standard? In a really, 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 really long time. Because 419 came out in the Katara cycle, which is the last FFG cycle, so in like 3 more rotations. Groder, this is such a strange deck. Okay, so they're not playing Cleaver, they're not playing Paperclip, they're saving 1 influence on this. Hey Darjean, whenever I see 419 I miss Psychic Field. It never happened enough to feel good about it, but I hear you. I miss Psychic Field so much. I never liked Psychic Field. Man, it was way too volatile for a single card. Like hitting a single card and you just lose the game potentially. I never liked that. Here I want to protect it. Again, not that they have Amakua, but mostly because they might think this is an Obakata, and that changes. Because in theory, there's ways that they can get through the server. Second liberated counts. Whoa, and I like liberated counts in Criminal, because if your run-based economy is denied like this, that is actually pretty good. All right, we're going to have to make us another sandwich while we figure this one out. Okay, card to discard. Card to discard. I want to keep all the ice in the world. I feel like genotyping is probably want to set that up as a safe play to get our 2 Spin Doctors in. So we can do like genotyping and then have 2 cards underneath that we don't mind trashing. We're going to discard none of these here. The problem is like we kind of want to discard here too to some extent, but we're going to be shuffling with genotyping, so it doesn't matter that much. If we didn't have a shuffle effect, a lot of these cards we don't actually want to draw. We just want to draw a big deal. So I'm going to choose a card to move to HQ. Okay. So we're going to discard a card anyway, so I don't really want to do this. Thimble Rig's probably the worst in this matchup if they have Amakua. So I'm going to throw out the Thimble Rig, and I'm going to move no cards to HQ. Cards onto R&D. Okay, so NGO front coming up to force them to run would be okay. We don't need a Saisentan anytime soon. We don't need a Hansei. So we're okay getting rid of the Bathynomus. Oh, we probably have to redo this. Yo, Jake, how's it going? Are you back home yet? So I think we need to get rid of the Bathynomus. We don't really want 2 of them. Stacking 2 is actually a lot better against, what's it called? Buckalter, but not amazing. So I think we're going to genotyping away next turn and we'll get rid of the Bathynomus, and the Rashida feels bad. It's probably not the Rashida. I think we messed up. We should have put something else back. Okay, well, say that we didn't mess it up. So we'll put Big Deal. Can we ever res the data loop? Man, this card takes way too long. So we want to get, I'll get rid of Rashida and that, I guess. So we'll do Rashida, Bathynomus, genotyping, Big Deal. Then we draw once, something like that. Okay, I'm not going to start over. It takes too long. Got home yesterday. Thank you. Very glad to be back in Australia. Shoot an email in a little bit. Hey, cheers. Hey, glad you had good travels. I'm hoping you had good travels at least. Put yourself in 419 shoes. Good advice for sure. All right, now they can be aggressive. So this is an Anemone. But with this anemone, we can force them to encounter this ice, so then Anansi will actually fire. Like, this is a mistake. Because here we can AgInfusion. You don't want to... No flip switch? Because if they don't flip switch here, we can throw them into the Anansi, and then they're going to be encountering the Anansi, so they can't jack out the flip switch. So this is the last window to jack out. They could, in theory, like, flip switch Bravado. Well, do you want to use it? For relinquishing your paid ability window. If they say, I don't want to do anything, then we can do all our paid ability windows, which means, I guess not. Okay. Well, now they're encountering this. So if they jack out now you have to encounter. So you will take the damage. You can flip switch while encountering the ice, but this says specifically if the encounter starts and you don't break all the subroutines, you get hurt. So yeah. Probably should explain that once you're AgInfusion, they automatically encounter. I think we tried to explain it before. What did they lose? Inside job, penny shaver, inside job. Okay, inside job is not amazing in this matchup. Now they're going for singles off the top with R&D, but we know this is a big deal, which they're going to trash. That's really funny. They've been running R&D heavily after we bacterial programming, which I don't know if that's correct. All right, so we just drew our genotyping. That's fine. So we'll just genotyping. We're going to trash 2 unknown cards, and then we can put back in the stuff that we want. Which is going to be, I think, Spin Doctor, Big Deal, and probably a Regolith, honestly. And then we'll just ice this bad boy up. Will we pay credit? Will we pay credit? How much does this cost? 5? Yeah, we'll pay credit. Generally, you want to install 2 things a turn. But yeah, they lost a lot. We're talking about Anansi's punishment. Yeah, you can definitely flip switch during the encounter. It's just Anansi, it's very specific that if the encounter ends and you don't break, like inside job doesn't work, fem doesn't work, you can get through it. You're gonna get hurt. Data loop on RD, so they're weak to snare off the top. Hey, Litterbug, there's only 1 snare, and I generally don't want to pay 7 credits just to protect the server. Like, I'm at this point, we're better off always just sending them into the Anansi until they get their killer. This is just a bit too expensive. All right, that's what we're gonna set up next turn. Install advance. Can we do it behind Thimblerig Anemone? Anemone Anoetic makes us feel pretty safe. And then, of course, we can throw them into the Nancy once. So that will be our next turn play. And from that point on, we'll try and big deal out a Regenesis for the lulls. I always seem to take runs 3x snare. Yeah, some of them do. This one's only on 2. But again, we just have a much better ways to protect R&D. Just the unresed dice is a Nancy. Wow, that's so much in their influence. They're 3 here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we've only seen NR cards. Oh, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 influence. Is it mean AgInfusion decks more long to play? They can be really fast. This is actually a faster deck. If you think of the AgInfusion worlds that the Snarebear's played at Worlds, yeah, that's a very slow deck. So we could actually try for the Genesis cheese. I think we're going to try and big deal out of Regenesis. We're going to pay 17 credits for this thing. But this AgInfusion deck, and I think with Daiji and a lot of AgInfusion decks, you can just build as rush-based decks. They're going to go get their Begalter, install their Begalter, and just take money. So we are now on game point. We have this in the server, so if we just jam in next turn, if we don't big deal it, that'll do it. But here, it's hard to, at this point, I don't know if we res another, we definitely don't res a data loop anymore. That's way too expensive. Nancy is a bit better. Actually, Nancy's is, yeah, the Nancy is still pretty good into the Begalter. They'll probably run HQ this turn. Yeah, there you go. So now we need to get unresed ice here to some extent. This is still kind of expensive. They have a snare here. They have the 1 hit here that puts them on game point. It's a Sisenton. Okay, that's fine. And now the second time they run, it's actually really expensive. So they can get 1 good run in a turn. And here's where we want to double ice HQ. Oh, this is interesting. If we res the Sisenton, they break it for 4 credits, which is not a lot. We could also just throw them into this Anansi, which is actually a lot of money, but we do risk losing the agenda. I think we're going to do it. Then the top of R&D is open. R&D is unknown, actually. This puts us further away from Big Deal. Do we res this? I wonder if we should always just install it over the mind game. This is going to be no tax whatsoever. So if we res the Sisenton, that's 4 credits. This is going to be 7 credits. But then R&D is open. I think we'll just do the 7 credits. It's a 1 in 5 here. If we hit the snare, it's really okay. NGO friend. Okay. That also denied them bravado money in theory, but they have good money. Wow. Okay. The question is whether they can run the server. So far, they haven't shown an answer to the thimble rig. I think I'm going to risk this here. The taxes MU? Or Katha, how's it going? Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, eventually they'll trash it. You're totally right. There is a legitimate tax there. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. And then this makes the snare 1 and 2 in HQ. And so we can either put the Nancy here. I think we will put the Nancy here. Does it really help? No. How much do we need? 3, 4, 5? Oh, we have to Regenesis twice, actually. So we probably should draw once. Doing that last click is ugly, but if they hit the snare first and then run server 1, we're in a bad spot. At least if that happens, the Anemone probably kills. No, we'll just click for credit. Yeah, I totally forgot that we need cards and credits because there's an Anoetic here. We could be weak to pinhole threading. Pinhole threading R&D is like wide open. Running archives first click. I think we can afford this. This is expensive. It's 2 credits and then makes the Anansi harder to deal with because it only deals the first entry. Draw for the Void. Yeah, I think we only have to fire the Void once here because they still have to put down like a way to deal with the Thimble Rig. Are they deep diving? Is their last 5 influence deep dive? Or are they exploiting us? I don't know what's happening. Now, if they hit the snare, we are going to be pretty unfortunate with this remote server. If they hit the snare, though, they can't really run the server because of Anemone. No, I think they just wanted to check archives because we just Hansayed. Gotta make it. Yo, Fatarian, how's it going? Boomerang on remote server, inside job. Okay, so this is probably not a great play because we can just throw them into HQ. And now they die. I didn't even realize they died. Oh, they didn't have enough cards in hand and they were forced. Good game. They were forced into the Anansi. Yeah, it really is. Inside job. So I was just doing that because that was where the game was in the remote server, but inside job forces them and then to encounter this and then bypass it. Yeah, you got it. 5 credits a turn. Yeah, that's Spider. I didn't realize that was going to be a game. Yeah, Patarian, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. I'm doing pretty well. It's not the worst. The best out of most factions. Yeah, for sure. What's the win in? Yeah, legitimately though, outside of like stealth breakers, I don't think there's a good answer to Anansi outside of hippoing it, which, you know. Yeah. No matter what happened there, like if they inside jobbed here, they would have died. If they boomeranged and just ran, they would have lost the game. Yep. Yeah, but there's no winning for them there. Anansi greater than Goliant, greater than Shelob. I have inside job of face down spider. I have done it before too. I've also femme patal the spider before back in the day. Didn't have much chance to do my sentry bigger. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's tricky. It's hard. Sometimes the early aggression and allowing me to res the big ice and which turns on the AgInfusion ability is the biggest issue. Let them undo if they wanted, but yeah, no, it was GG no matter what, right? Like even if they run this, the Anemone puts them down to, I think they would have died to the enemy regardless if this happened. Because if they died to 3 net damage, they would have probably died to 2. I don't know how many cards they had in hand. I don't think they had a lot, but then they can't run this twice. So no matter what. Hey, Sophie, how's it going? Love a deck lets you flatline someone accidentally. Yo, straight up, a lot of people forget about AgInfusion's ability. We were using a lot, but it's very easy to be like 10 turns into a game where AgInfusion hasn't fired and then it gets you out of surprise. Yeah. Yeah, it's also a really hard matchup because cards like Diversion of Funds are just kind of useless. Hi. H Mendrix, do we know the previews for the next set start? Yes, end of November. Null Signal has reached out. They said that I'll be getting previews really soon. So spoiler season, they'll have an article up soon, but it should be at the end of November. It's going to be really, really soon. We're going to have Wayland cards and they're going to slap. It's so hard. It's nearly impossible to Diversion an AgInfusion. Just send you to another server as long as I have unres iced. Congrats on the preview. Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited. Hey, Lucas, if you don't bounce once they pass the thimble with IJ, you can just move the thimble to the innermost and they can't make it in, right? Yeah, there's a couple options there. You're right. If that was a thimble rig, we res the thimble rig, then they inside job the thimble rig, and then we move the inside job. Like, you're right, 3 ways, I think 4 ways while that they were kind of cursed on the remote server. One was the double thimble rig. The second was probably Anemone, might have been lethal. And then lastly, Anoetic. Obviously Anansi too. Yeah. So there's so many ways that was a problem for them. Change just time for a snare? No, the AgInfusion ability got him. Inside job. They just inside job a remote server and you get redirected to AgInfusion. It was the last click of the game anyways, but love to see it. Okay, let's do another. What crim needs to deal with AgInfusion is forged activation orders, obviously. Yeah, D-Res actually would be like quite okay. The criminal matchup classically into like the snare bears list is not the worst, but Gothar's like pretty meaningful. The problem is that a lot of times the criminals don't have a good way to deal with the Chiashi anymore, especially if they're playing Cleaver. But Femme Fatale deals with that matchup really well, as much as it doesn't deal with at all with Anansi. Honestly, where can I go for a thorough explanation of how Agin works, or do I need to study the turn structure? No, hold on, we'll do it right now. It's actually not that bad. AgInfusion. Okay, I'm gonna do a video hopefully next month about the timing structure. This is something I've already written a script in, but let's talk about this. So firstly, AgInfusion says, trash the unres piece of ice the runner is approaching. Okay, so when you hit a piece of ice in Netrunner, firstly, you're on approach. Now on the approach is a special time because that is the only paid ability window where ice can be rezzed by normal means. So during the approach, that's when the corporation says, do you want to res? Yes, no. If they says yes, cool. The next thing you go on to is on encounter. Now, when you're on encounter, that is when the only time you can use icebreakers to break subroutines 99% of the time is when you're encountering a piece of ice. So the big thing here is that when the runner's approaching a piece of ice, they're approaching an unresed ice. So they're making the run when the corporation deciding, do you want to res or do you not want to res? Then the corporation can trash that to put you onto another server. Now you notice the server that it moved on, they're now encountering any ice, and encountering means that the corporation can't res. So if the ice is already unresed, it cannot be resed. If the ice is resed, well, congrats, you're encountering it. And that's it. It's that simple. The corp can only res on an approach, and it goes approach. Do you want to res? Yes, no. Okay, continue, encounter. That's hopefully it. Now, the thing that comes up is like Anansi is very special because if an encounter with Anansi ends and you don't break all the subroutines, it snaps you. It hurts. So specifically, AgInfusion will force you to encounter the Anansi. And then if you can't break it, it's going to hurt you no matter what. You can't jack out because that's actually the most important thing is you can only jack out during an approach. And it has to be not your first approach. So the first time you run a server, you approach the first server, you can't jack out then. You can't say make a run jack out. You have to actually go through a piece of ice at a minimum. But after that point on, after you approach your second ice, then you can jack out. So you make situations where it's bad. The most important thing is you're encountering the ice, you're not approaching it. So you kind of just locked into whatever's already on the table. I think that's mostly it. I think that's it. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. The weird thing is like, paid timing priorities when it comes to like Anansi and like flip switch and priority windows, and that gets a bit more complicated, but largely you can always respond to just about anything in the game. It's important to know that when you're doing your paid abilities, if it's your priority, you can do all your paid abilities you want in sequence before giving up priority. So I can be like, I'm going to use AgInfusion, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, and then I'll be like, and then you can go, and then they can go. D-Res is double-edged against AgInfusion though. Yeah, sometimes D-Resing their ice is actually really bad because then they have more stuff to bounce. Forge Activation is one of my absolute favorite cards. It seems so underwhelming until you learn about credit pressure and good with guessing face down ice costs and such. I think it's a rare card that's good for beginners and good for advanced plays. I think Forge Activation is not very good for advanced play because it's generally better to just face plant into the ice. There are very few situations where just making the run itself is worse than spending a card slot and a credit for Forged. Very few situations. Right? It's like the same reason why we don't play Flip Switch. Flip Switch is largely a Forge Activation. Now, Forge Activation can target any ice on the table, but you're giving, an option to sometimes it trashes ice. That's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, generally, it doesn't work out that well. I see the one big spider put anemone is good. Yeah, you can build some really weird situations with anemone. We didn't res an anemone all game, but that's a hard one to play around too. But yeah, I don't know. I think Forge Activation is like a card that's really good for newer players, right? Where like it allows them to, get the pressure without having to be brave enough to run. But I'd rather just have no Forge in the card pool and just tell people run with your face. I see where you're coming from, but like you can almost always trash the ice if you do it right. Vamp plus FAO. Yeah, totally. In Criminal, right? Like, I don't know. Like, if you're already that sort of deck, yeah, Vamp obviously is going to be a combo, but then there's, like, you could do Kraken, you could do E Shutdown. Like, if they have no money, it's all the same. FAO the remote, FAO after the res. Sure, but that's the same thing as, like, run this, then run that, right? Like, yeah, you do trash some ice. It's just that Doesn't show up that often, I suppose. Like, you'd be better off doing that in an arena deck, right? I guess so, which is not very criminal. But yeah, Forge might be okay in an arena deck. I still think that you just face check. You just face check, and then you en passant or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think en passant is actually seeing a bit of like pocket niche play in like competitive Netrunner decks because it pairs so well with Hippo. And people are like, at this point in Netrunners, like playing around Hippo so bigly that you really have to play around Hippo. Hippo endurance is just too big of a problem to not respect at all costs. So people are actually like unironically playing en passant, and I think it's right. I think it's quite correct. Yeah. If you could trash ice, like, so trashing ice is obviously a very good thing. It's obviously very good. It was more important to some extent back in the day where you have a lot of things that like, if you can get free runs are even more important. So like back in the day, cards like Medium, which is modernly Conduit, that was like one of the best targets. Trash all ice on R&D and you win the game. In Criminal, you don't have that much of it. Amaku is really good. Endurance is really good, but so far it hasn't proven to be necessary considering that Criminal already has cards like, you know, Boomerang and stuff like that, that deals with the breaking part of ice relatively well that you don't need the destruction. We'll see if there's, you know, something that changes that. I'm like really interested. So far of the cards that we've seen so far, we've seen a lot of support for Femme Fatale in like the spoiled Parhelion cards. But compared to like Infiltration, I much prefer FAO. At least you get badly timed res when FAO goes wrong. I think comparing yourself to Infiltration is not like doing a lot of favors. I do not like Infiltration as a card. I think Infiltration like takes all the fun out of Netrunner. I really don't understand how they made a card game about bluffing and putting cards face on a remote server, and they just gave you the zero cost, expose the card. Oh, it's a June bug. Like, I don't know. To me, that always felt so strange. And I'm glad that there's no like neutral expose anymore. Not that it was like a very good or playable card. It's just, you know what I mean? Infiltration is training wheels, but it's like training wheels and teaching you how to do the bike wrong. Hey, it's going well. I don't know. It's the same sort of thing. I'd rather teach people to face check than teach them to panic. Yeah, everyone loves Infiltration though. I've seen everyone's like so excited to be like, what's that ice? What's that? All right, always be running. All right. Okay. They're always be running. So they need to run first click, which is actually pretty disastrous into our deck archetype. Now we did draw 9 agendas in hand, so we're gonna have to hit that mulligan button, but they are always be running, which means we can force them into some of the worst dice early. Because always be running, if it hits an Anansi, it's a bad spot. If they always be running, we AgInfusion them into our bad ice, it's a bad spot. Of course. No worries. That being said, it is always be running. So we can just lose. We can just lose. We can just draw bad, or we can just lose. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is, but they neutralize all threats. So HQ pressure, they have to trash cards. They have Find the Truth. So we're gonna see what they draw, but they also see the top of R&D, and hopefully we don't draw an agenda. Okay, cool. Hansei review. So how can we make this as ugly as possible? Unfortunately, we drew some of the only ice in our deck that doesn't actively hurt them. Now, obviously, Data Loop is pretty good. They can only click through one subroutine, which is going to be most of their turn. So Mind Game doesn't... Oh, man, this is a really bad opening in terms of ice. If we lose the early Regenesis, it's okay. If they force to trash the big deal, it's okay. I do think we have to ice up both of our important central servers. I think we are... I just don't want to Hansei review this turn. This is really ugly. Could have a worse hand, could have a better hand. Falsified is an actually good exposed card. Yeah, Falsified is like where it should be. It's a bit of a gamble. You know it's coming in Criminal, and that's like flavorful. But yeah, I'm much more on board with Falsified. We'll see if they do face check though. Like if they respect Anansi, they respect Saisentan, like they can just lose to Saisentan. Actually, no, it can only do 4 damage, but functionally it can be bad. In a format with like Cortex Lock or other brutal face checks, there's some argument to be made for expose. I suppose so, but if you're Criminal, like I'd rather just play Fairy. Or even flip switch, you know? But that being said, I'm not a big fan of the design of Cortex Lock, and I don't think the current Null Signal folks are either, for obvious reasons. But yeah, classically Criminal would much rather play like a Fairy. Or there was no flip switch at the time, but you know what I mean? Like it was very easy back in the day. You install a Fairy, now start running. And that works. 6 credits, we can't res a lot. No Anansi threat here. Oh, wow, cool. I wonder if this is the ABR deck from Asarius from Worlds. So ideally, they hit the big deal in the Hansei. That would be the best case scenario here. If we res the Mind Game and cost us 3 credits, we're not going to do that. They'll see the top of R&D. We can't protect it. Fairy was like the killer for a really long time. It was like criminal decks ran 2 or 3. And then you ran like a Fem and then a Mimic. That was like a really long time ago. All right, the Rashida, they have to trash that for 1. They hit the big deal. Okay, so they could trash that for 3, but that would be all their money. I don't think they should do that. I wanted to get the Rashida on the table. Mass drawing is a bit dodgy against criminal. Adam. But this is like a really sort of matchup where you want to draw as little as possible, because generally Adam will be obviously being forced to run every turn. Is going to be in an awkward situation very quickly. Yeah, you can just honk your horn in your giant truck in the middle of a residential area. I think that's reasonable. They're thinking about it. This is a big deal. Mine 3 to trash. We're nowhere near being ready to score this, but if they trash this, they open up more HQ pressure. We didn't res last click. Maybe we'll res next click. Who knows? I used to see a lot of Mongoose as well. Yeah, Mongoose was really, really good for a while. Mongoose was the next de facto breaker. Like in terms of killers, it went Mongoose, then Nanotech, and then Begalter. I don't know if I'm missing any, but that was like the power killers for a long time. Okay, that's sick. That's really good. I'm tempted to draw once, and we could always Hansei out. Okay, now we don't have to Hansei. I think we're just going to do this. Now, if we get this rezzed, it doesn't really help. Yeah, Mongoose is like a really cool card. It's like a fun design. People didn't play it. It was legal for a really long time after that, but people just stopped playing it entirely. I think obviously because Begalter came out, it's like really hard to design a better killer than Begalter. It's like the paperclip problem. It's like once you basically plateaued. I don't know how you can make a better Fractor without it being like so absurd. I think the only way you can do it is cards like the virus one, right? Where it's like, it's very, very specific to a certain archetype, a certain faction. Yeah, this looks like Hasaru's deck. This is super cool. So this is a data loop. This is going to return 2 cards to the top of their stack. It's going to put us on 4 credits, but that means the mind game actually has teeth. I'm just going to res it. Regular power creep is super sad. What do? You do this stuff like you build horizontal stuff. Like Yusuf. Yusuf is very powerful. It's technically more powerful than paperclip. It just not everyone can play it. So here they can die to snare. There's only 1 snare in R&D, but this is rezzed. How's it going? APX DM Hansei review always puts myself in a tough situation. How do you usually use it? Real talk, I don't. I generally don't play decks that play Hansei review, or I Hansei review out my worst card, or if you have extra cards in hand. It gets a bit more value if you're playing Restoring Humanity that has, you know, more stuff that cares about face down cards. I'm not firing this. It doesn't do anything. Come on in. But yeah, I generally don't like these cards. Like Celebrity Gifts, specifically Hansei Review, they come with like a really sharp cost. And this is a deck that Adam is like more likely out of many runners to want to actually check archives, because a successful run in archives sees the top of the deck. So a lot of times they'll just dirty lawn archives because they have to run first click. So it's not like I'm brave enough to Hansei Review out a Regenesis. Anemone. Okay, so now we can ice up everything. I think we'd actually want to ice up HQ first here. They can always spend a click and 2 cards to get through that. That's a losing battle for them. So I think we do credit. I think we do Hansei this. And this means 100% if they get into HQ, they die to snare. Because we can always Anemone away the non-snare card. Now we just have to ice up archives, and they're in such an ugly spot. Because they have to run, and we have some of the meanest ice in the whole format. Hansei's okay with Spin Doctor? Yeah, if you have Spin Doctor, if you have a way to like undo the damage, yeah, it's a fair bit better. But now we have to ice up archives. Otherwise, they're going to see the top of our deck. I used to play Guinea Pig all the time and it didn't feel as bad. It's not. Guinea Pig is nowhere near as bad because if there's no like card you can discard that loses you the game, like agendas. Right? It's not that bad. Like Guinea Pig is just a burst card. There's a lot more runners that have 1 to no cards in hand, especially playing Nat, right? So, Earthrise, that's good. We know what they're drawing. We should pay more attention to. Pinhole threading. Okay. Oh, Pathonymous Archives. Perfect. Now they have to run into this. Like there's no winning run here. Data Loop has a very good on encounter. Anemone will do 3 net damage. They'll die. Well, no, they'll have 4 cards in hand. And Pathonymous will do 3 net damage. Faction staple. I meant from the design standpoint, when Paperclip is around, designing Fractors is just much harder, but they'll be pretty much always be best breaker of any type. It's neat that people are discussing Paperclip versus Cleaver. Yes. People are unironically playing Cleaver. And it's more so not because it's better than Paperclip, but because it's good enough and because they're spending influence somewhere else. And that's the big reason here is that there's huge 5 influence cards in the format that criminals are like modernly playing, like Endurance or Deep Dive or the Twinning. Like these are big influenced cards that you're trying to find in your criminal deck, so you're trying to figure out where to cut influence. On that fact, like there's this kind of like self medicating feature of breakers, right? Like if the best Fractor in the format is absurdly good, so people run less barriers, then you don't need the best Fractor anymore. And I feel like that's kind of where we got, not exactly, but like Cleaver Paperclip is kind of there. Like Fractors or barriers are not the most taxing ice anymore. I think Brawn is probably a bit underrepresented to some extent, but like, yeah, so you don't have to play your Paperclip. Like the popular Fractors are things you can trace through with IP block, border control, and envelopment's gonna be bad no matter what. Hey Paul, how's it going? Regenesis might work with an oboe if you could draw one here. It's hard though, because they'll check archives and have to get it in there. Yeah, you're right, though. They probably can steal oboe. That'd be cool. You're in bad spot if you power creep a new breaker. If you try and design niche situation breakers, that could be better. Cleaver's almost a very well designed card. Cleaver's like an homage to original core set. If you boot me with Ag, I must encounter an unres piece of ice. Correct. So encounter means that I can't res it. So if it's unresed, it stays that way. But if it's resed, you can't jack out. You can only jack out on the approach of your second ice on a run. Cool. Have you been saying unironically? Who plays it ironically? David, people play ironic breakers. People play like niche jank for fun and for style points. But like the fact that, you know, some of the best deck builders in the game and players in the game are playing like, you know, laughable substandard cards, that's the irony. Some people do. The answer is the easy X round. You just print a hardware that breaks ice for free. Okay, I see where we're going here. I made the Genesis comment when they were on one card in hand. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. So now they have to double click through a Bathonimus. Hitting my Diana's Hunt deck? Yeah, exactly. Oh, so they did Dirty Laundry something. Here it's -2 cards, so it's really ugly. They're doing the really ugly one. They're all pretty ugly. So they're going to spend their whole turn to see a single card here. They can't steal Obacadas. They can steal the other 5/3. If they bounce off this, there's no reason to Dirty Laundry. So I'm assuming they're clicking through it. They have an RNG key in hand, it makes it a bit better. So you do want to actually second double ice this, but that's generally what you do against this deck. You double ice everything and wait until they implode. We're not going to fire the subroutine, doesn't do anything. They broke the end of the run one. Unknown card. 1 snare in there, 3 Obacadas. And if they hit something, they have to trash it. You can't jack it on approach anymore. It's movement now. Whoa, for real, Raketha. I didn't know that. Functionally, it's the same. Isn't there a Queen Bee competition in Worlds? I don't remember that name. There is. There was a competition going through Worlds where there was a list. Sanjay was doing this. There's a list of cards, from my understanding, that were bee themed, or technically ant cards or anti-bee. I don't understand any of this. It's a Konjin. I don't want to res that. And the point is that you get points for playing the most B cards. So like you saw Anzuke playing a Sobel API. That's the one you want. And playing that in the deck. That's an ironic card inclusion. Who won Queen Bee? I think it was Anzuke. I'm pretty sure it was Anzuke. I'm not sure if it was just amount of B cards or was B cards versus like competitive meritocracy, like standings. They have Pinhole and Earthrise. They also have an RNG key, but they didn't install it. So he has to face check here. The Nancy is a nightmare. Pathonimus is 2 clicks. Anemone is a bad one. Yeah, Diana's Hunt is definitely a card. But that's the sort of idea. Like Isabel, I think, is a good way of looking at it. I don't think it's a good card. I think it's actually a very bad card. But it's a way to do like, you know, something interesting. It's just not good archetype. It's fragile, and the numbers aren't aggressive enough. Once we get 2 ice on every server, like they have to run double click and then just jack out. And it's really, really bad. But once we get this Anansi res, then we just throw them into Anansi anytime they run. Like now we just want to get unres ice here. We just put a Konjin on archives, and everything we do, we just throw them into the Anansi. Eventually they'll run through the Anemone. That'll be bad. They have a logic bomb. They need to get that down stat. Like this is unfortunately the way you want to play against this deck. And next turn we can do a celebrity gift to gain 3 for 2 clicks. It's pretty bad. Isabel's, I mean, the idea is good. What if you could turn your failed Junebug into a super bad campaign? It's pretty bad. It's still pretty bad. Like there's ways to do that, like back channels. You can always do that already with like Trickle Light. It's just like, it's really, really hard to do that on a card that you also have to protect in an archetype that like, it isn't generally about taxing out finances. It's like why there's so many bad Jinteki assets. It's like, oh, this is an asset you have to protect. Oh, good. They ran this. I was so worried that they wouldn't run the Nancy for a while, but now the Anansi is going to hit them. But like many corp things, yeah, it's far too fiddly. That's exactly it. Oof. That's a big one. Yeah, this is a hard matchup. So this is going to fire, which means they're not going to steal an agenda off the top of the deck. We're going to get closer to being able to play Celebrity Gift. One credit here. They could pivot HQ. Actually, pivoting HQ would be pretty good for them because we can't fire Snare. So we slightly overextended here, but we needed to get this rezzed. Actually, no, they can't really run HQ. We'll throw them back into it. No, forget it. Even Logic Bomb fails the Anansi, it does. It's still something you kind of want. But yeah, Logic Bomb fails the Anansi because they encounter and they don't break. It's actually kind of wild that we don't have more when you pass this ice effects. Yeah. We're seeing more cards that like function like that, like on res abilities, which I think are very interesting. Like ways that the ice matters outside of subroutines. And I like that a lot. I think that's really cool. Because it starts making ice that like, you know, fundamentally fails some of the mathematical checks that are some of the soonest to happen. Make them interesting. Yeah, Anansi's like the prime big ice because it deals with just about everything well. Fire. People need to run more Bachlan. I think Bachlan's like an ability that when I saw it on paper, I'm like, that's absurd. There's no way that this is like a Netrunner card. That's busted. But it turns out, yeah, nobody plays it. Okay, 5 cards. We're going to bury the Bacterial because we can genotype it away. Second Bathonimus is not very necessary. Second Anansi is not very necessary. We can add one of these to hand. The Obokata, we can... They'll take what? Up to 2 net damage. No, up to 3 net damage because they can draw 1. So there's no way they steal the Obokata, especially after the data loop. So we can leave the Obokata there. We do need to bury that. We don't want to draw the Bathonimus. So I'll put that underneath the genotyping. Actually, we don't want to draw the Obokata. It's safe for an R&D behind a data loop. What are we doing? So we'll do... That seems good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Bachlan's really, really good. At least there was like metas where Bachlan's ability would have been absolutely buck wild. Oh, they hit the RNG key. That's really good. Okay, they passed. They lost a daily cast and Earthrise. Okay. Now they're hitting this, and they really shouldn't go through this. Not that we can fire Snare, but we have full information what's on top of the deck. Them spending 2 clicks is not worth it. There you go. They jacked out. Bravado. That's good. Now, it's the second approach or the second movement step, so they can jack out. There's the Logic Bomb coming down. They didn't lose that. That's pretty good. Now, unfortunately, again, if they run HQ here, we throw them back into the Nancy. Now, they could Logic Bomb it. It denies 1 net damage, but not great. ABR is so much fun. Diogene, this is a matchup where I'm so unenvious of our opponent because it is going to ruin them. It is literally going to ruin them. We know the next card is not an agenda. It's another Bathonimus. So I think we just draw gift. We're short credits. Shit. They're going to run HQ here. All right. Those 2 go back in. Then we'll get back in a hedge fund and a big deal. Oh, we just click for credits. I mean, the best way for Adam to win the matchup is to hope that the corp doesn't draw any Anansi. Well, Saisentan. Like, how do you deal with Saisentan with always be running? You can't. You can Logic Bomb it, but you have 3 of those. No, this is going to be... They're not having any fun, let me promise you. This is a nightmare. Anything they run now, like, it's just an Anansi. Congratulations, you have found the Anansi. Oh, we should fire the first one because they can jack out on the second one, actually. It's fine. It's fine. I'd rather keep the anemone open. But yeah, now they just hit the Anansi over and over again. And once they tank the Nancy, like, yeah, they can still run HQ. That'll be bad for us. We can always res the mind game. They'll double click through it maybe, or they can just pay 2 credits. I don't know if this is right. Yeah, I think we just... They should have jacked out here for sure. Hi, it's me, Anansi. You can bypass me, but boy will you take 3 net damage. And lose your whole turn. Always be running. Yeah, this is the AgInfusion ability. It's massively good. 17 influence of power. Yeah, and this thing fires if they don't break all of the subroutines during an encounter. And this bypasses during an encounter, but does not break all the subroutines. Get 'em, Spider. Addercops. Addercops. Yeah, no matter what, this is really ugly for them. They double clicked the rearrange the top 5. I like that. That's kind of fun. Still gonna fire, but that's at least makes his at least that makes his access a bit more valuable. Draw 1 card. I don't want to. We can't celebrity gift next turn. I'm not gonna draw. Drawing would be disastrous if we drew a 5/3 agenda. Now they can not take a net damage. All right. Always be running overclock pinhole threading. Okay, and now this they could go through. At what cost though? Oh no, they can't go through this. It ends the run. They should jack out here. You do not want to encounter this. Oh, they could logic bomb it. I guess that's what gotta go fast means. So they don't die to anything. But if they logic bomb this, that can't be good for them. All right, they'll logic bomb me. Single access here. They can't steal Avocado. They can steal Genesis. They can steal the other 5/3 Bacterial. All right. 1 logic bomb down. I think actually 2 logic bombs down. 2 logic bombs down. All right, and unfortunately, we're going to be struggling uphill for credits. So we just do this, and then next turn, we can Celebrity Gift. And again, they have to run this turn, and they die. No matter what they do, they die. Always be running literally has flatlined them. There's literally nothing they can do. That always be running 100% just flatlines them. Yeah, that ABR is going to end it. GG. Sorry about that. If they logic bomb, do they get to skip the on-encounter effect? No. Because this is not an on-encounter effect. It's whenever an encounter. It's not an on-encounter. Like, Hunting Grounds has nothing to do with this. If the encounter starts, then whenever the encounter fires. It's super hard. This matchup. Oh, for Logic Bomb? When the runner encounters, Logic Bomb is... You are currently encountering? No. So if it says effect that you are currently encountering, that means the win encounter already has to hit. You have to win encounter, then you are currently encountering. So no, they would still have to logic bomb it and lose a card. Yeah. There's when you encounter, then cards you are encountering, and then after the encounter ends. I think are the 3 main abilities. Always be reconsidering. But look, there's some tech cards I was looking for. Probably should have mulled for them. Which ones? I wonder what tech cards you can have for this matchup. This matchup just seems like a total bear. I wonder if this is Julian's list. Direct access and hunting grounds. Oh, hunting grounds doesn't do anything. Direct access is cute. Unfortunately, doesn't deal with the spider. Deals with this. Thanks for the game. Okay. Cool. We got some news. It's 10. Hey, cheers. All right. Yeah, AgInfusion deck is good. It's like really easy to like just kind of run into some bad ites, and then we force the issue more than once. But yeah, ABR literally would have flatlined them, which is really funny. Okay, so a couple things. Firstly, this last weekend on Sunday, I was joined by Yasengrin. Thanks so much, Yasengrin. And we streamed this live stream. Yo, this is new to YouTube, and I don't know how you all deal with this or how you feel about this. But now on YouTube, when you go to someone's page, the videos are here, but then the live streams are in a totally separate tab. That might be useful, but like I make a lot of content, at least a stream once a week, and that all stuff will be here, and I don't think you'll see it on the homepage unless I put a specific like playlist for live streams here, which is kind of I think I removed it because I was like, there's no point. Anyways, that's new. Enjoy that. But this was something we streamed up on last Sunday with Jeff with Nemec. But I said about 1,024 custom Netrunner cards. It was really fun. A lot of new cards came out again. You can find all the links in the description. So much this time. So almost just about every video we put these links here. You just have to hit the more button. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's just like here, more, and it gets you all these links. So if you want to see all the cards, they're all up here. You can get them printed, played, make playing cards, whatever you want to do. So they're all here. I kind of feel like I want to do like a really long stream and go through this and just like review every single card, trying not to spend more than a minute on each card. And I think that would actually be quite fun. I just don't know if there's an audience for that. Maybe one sleepy Sunday or something, but do check that out if you want. The live tab is a bit annoying to creators, but I'm making happy to check both tabs. Yeah, it's like really new, like this week new, and it's strange. Like I went to my page and it's like, I don't see my content. Where's my content? And that can be a good thing. Nemic stream was fun to watch. Hey, Seabass, glad you liked it. Thanks, I hate it. Yeah, okay, good. We're on the same page. This is on the Null Signal Games website. They put out a season and world survey. I thought this was just a world survey, but this seems to be about the whole year. So if you want to hit here and take the survey, you get your opinions, your feedback in about this whole 2022 World Championship and organized play this year. And they obviously will use that information to make a better 2023 or a worse 2023 if you answer it incorrectly. So I don't think this takes very long. Go ahead and fill that out. That's fantastic. I like that they ask for opinions. This is what it looks like. This is going to be a really big deal. Announcing the 2022 Eternal Tournament and Return of Ram. So the Random Access Memories Tournament was last weekend. You can see it streamed. It was on twitch.tv/ what's the Twitch channel? Null Signal Netrunner now. And it was streamed by Jeff. And Jeff was joined by, oh, I forget. It doesn't say in the description. But it was streamed. A bunch of players. Okay, we're not watching this McDonald's ad. I think it's McDonald's. Basically streamed this event. It looked like a really cool card pool, and you saw some really fun decks. You saw like functional cerebral imaging decks, and you saw like Cipher Parasite. And it's actually really fun. So that was last week. You can go watch the VODs. Maybe it'll be up on the YouTube channel at some point. But here on, not this channel, but the NSG Online Eternal Tournament, which is this weekend, and I've heard a lot of interest about Eternal specifically. It's the format with like the huge card pool of like the whole history of Netrunner, but there is a point system to keep things pretty reasonable. It's really fun. 2 weekends ago, me and Jeff played some games on his channel and my channel. You can find that stream where we played those games, but it's actually quite a bit of fun. Anyways, that event will be this Saturday. Again, if you want to sign up, I do think it's free. I do think there's prize support. So if you want to play some Eternal on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, if you're in Europe, Africa, go check that out. I will be hosting it on the Null Signal Netrunner channel on Saturday with Simply the Onion. So that will be this Saturday morning. Hopefully you join that. I really wish NSG simulcast to YouTube. Twitch VOD system sucks. It's really bad. And the problem is they do a long stream, so it's like kind of hard and like just takes a long time to download the VOD and put it on another thing, but they should be doing that. Hey, that's me. Hey, Onion, how's it going? I'm super psyched for Saturday. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I just throw up a playlist or something because it's the bummer the weekly streams aren't on your front page. Yeah, I think I have to do a playlist. I probably will. I'll see if the numbers are really bad. They also posted this Null Signal. It's gonna be at PAX Unplugged 2022, which is in Boston, Philly. I think it's in Pennsylvania. I think it's Pittsburgh. We'll find out together. I don't know where it is. It's on the East Coast, but they'll be there. There's going to be some events. There's always the overclock promos for this if you want to check them out, but they will be at Unplugged. I think it's in Philly. Going pretty terrible. It's 4 a.m. My son's been screaming since 2. Oof. Sorry to hear that. These are the moments that you'll look back in and you'll miss them, I think. I'm psyched for this. I'll be there. Oh, yo, let me know how it goes. I really sort of missed this live kind of experience. I've been to one PAX, which was PAX West, and out of like all the events to go to, like I've been to E3s and I've been to PAX, and PAX has always been like the really fun one. That's way more focused at people enjoying themselves as opposed to like waiting in line to do things. So it's in Philly. Thank you, D-Line. NSG had very last needs to post to YouTube sooner. Seems like it takes a solid couple months before it makes. Yeah, that's something that you might be able to give them feedback on that survey. I don't know, but I agree with you. I'd like to see that stuff sooner. And speaking of seeing things sooner, we should have some spoilers on this channel from what's it called? From Parhelion relatively soon. Pay attention to this. Michael said that he'd post an article on here soon enough talking about when spoiler season is, but it looks like we have some Wayland cards that we're going to be talking about pending whenever that is. So I haven't seen them yet, but I should be seeing them soon, and I'm really stoked. I'm pretty sure the Wayland stuff's going to be really good. Really want to go to PAX. Always a blast. At least I catch the end of a Metropole Grid stream. Onion, hopefully you're holding up. Last time I went to PAX South, I got a migraine so bad I ended up in the hospital. Oh, so I'm hoping this one goes better. There's almost no way that it's going to go better, Izzy, for sure. That's going to be fun. If they're crying, they're breathing. They're, oh, I think that's all the news. I think we just want to play some like Panic Palana and see how it goes. Like this deck was not exactly Panic Palana. It felt more like a fortress that we were building and then kind of like, you know, ensconcing ourselves in a lot of a sharp pointed ice. But I want to just see if we can do like the closest things to Panic Palana. A lot of people ask like, what is Panic Palana? And the idea, this is something that like gets referenced a lot of times in when people are making discussions about the meta. I know this came up when we did our set reviews. And the idea is that you see all these decks, Panic, AgInfusion, Panic, Padma. Panic is a term that's used a lot of times the day before a tournament, what deck you want to bring. And a lot of times people would fall back on, you know, the trusted and tried archetypes that they generally are easier enough to play and they're always just about good enough. And Panic Palana was the big thing. I honestly don't know what is, if there's like one big Panic Palana deck that, man, there's so many Panic names here. That was like the reason that this name stuck. Apparently there's nothing published like that. Pretty sure it's Panic Sports right now. I would say it's Panic Fast. Yeah, Sports. I think Panic PD to some extent. I think it's still doing well. But these are the Palana decks that were just running a good agenda suite, good enough ice, some defensive upgrades, and that was it. I guess that makes all my decks a Panic deck. You and me both. But the idea is that this was meant to be like the mid-range deck they could always go to. It was kind of like having comfort food. It was something that always worked well enough. It was always easy enough to play. Palana's ability, mind you, just said the first time a turn the runner draws, you get a credit. So as long as you were on top of that, and a lot of people either held the credit as a reminder, like that was it. You weren't like trying to work out AgInfusions and having derez abilities. You were just saying, okay, I got like an extra 15 credits this game. That's pretty good. It turns out it is. So there were a few Palana in there, but I wanted the one that was like Panic Palana 137 upvotes or whatever. That was like where this all came from. I always had a Palana deck as my go-to deck for rotation, a CTZ deck. Oh, cool. So let's try and build one. Let's see what this looks like modernly. I think it's pretty bad. We haven't seen a lot of this sort of archetype at all. I think the closest we saw to this at Top Tables of Worlds, Anzuke was playing, I think it was Restoring Humanity deck that was running 5/3s and was running Regenesis and API Sobel for B points. So we're going to try and do the standard equivalent of like just mid-range, and eventually we'll be upset that it doesn't work, but mid-range Jinteki. Palana was kind of boring, but also sweet ID. It like made a couple more interesting decision points in the game where it was like, do I want to draw before I run? But yeah, it wasn't exciting. It's just the deck was kind of inherently fun to play. So the question is, what are we playing? We're not doing AgInfusion because we did it. We're definitely not doing Hyobu because Hyobu doesn't really do anything. PE, we generally would want to focus more on net damage, and we're meant to be kind of like a mid-range score behind ice deck, so not exactly it. So it's probably Restoring Humanity. The last one here is Saraswati. I'm not a big fan of Saraswati. Saraswati does allow you to get a bit of click compression when it comes to advancing cards. Again, you're coming at a cost that you can't res the cards. So NGO fronts, Biovaults, that stuff doesn't exactly work. I don't think there's a big reason to play Saraswati outside of specifically like playing something and playing a lockdown or playing a full horizontal shell game trap deck. But it's not exactly what we're trying to do. So it leaves us with Restoring Humanity, an ability that if you squint really hard from a distance could maybe suggest a Palana ability. That's good. My kind of Jinteki is industrial genomics, so clearly the problem is me. Yeah, are you playing Eternal? We'll just go to collection with standard. I don't know why that doesn't default. Maybe that's on me. And let's go and put together a mid-range deck as good as we can. Okay, so basic stuff that we want to do. Panic Palana, we want some amount of money. Off-World Office is going to get us a bit of the way there. We're probably going to play Global Food Initiative. It's either that or Obokata. And I think this is going to be one of the big decisions that we have to make with this list, is that it's either that we run Global Food Initiative and a bunch of 4/2s, and that forces the runner to steal 4 agenda points or 4 separate agendas, barring a mad dash. Now, the other option is to run Obokata, which is just inherently one of the best agendas in the whole game, but means they could win in as few as 3 agenda scores, or even 2 agenda scores if mad dash gets really, really lucky against us. So I don't know what we're doing about that. Not going for 6 agendas, no, Solomir, because I want to go for something that's a bit more jammy. Like I'm imagining we're playing Seamless Launch or La Costa, as opposed to like just hitting only 6 5/3s and then getting an extra point off of, I guess, Gene Splicer. I don't know how you do it. You got really mid-range RH deck. It feels really good. Thomas, I'd definitely like to see it. Are you on Obokata or are you on food? Let's try food, just because that feels like what we would do back in the day. All depends on how many mad dashes you're expecting. I'm expecting some amount of mad dashes. I think it's kind of died down since we're post Worlds. So you're not seeing as much the top decks, which are all very mad dash heavy, because that's pretty meta relevant. All right, for old school sake, we can run some Nisei Mark IIs. Technically a good card against the Obokatas. That seems good. And then here we need to run one more agenda. I honestly don't think it's Longevity Serum. Longevity Serum just doesn't do enough, I don't think. It's basically a pseudo, not a pseudo blank 3-2. It's not exactly blank, but I'd rather play a 4-2 with actual text than this. I just don't know what that 4-2 would possibly be. Yeah, we're doing Panic Humanity Thanos. That's exactly it. What 3-2 do you play? What do you play as the last agenda in this suite? I really want to play Eternal more, but I don't want to give up Startup. I don't really have the bandwidth for 2 formats right now. The Eternal is really fun to just pick up deck lists. And oh, that's a big thing. If you want to play Eternal on Saturday and you don't have deck lists, the stream that Yusengren and I did 2 weeks ago, Yusengren published all his deck lists. So you can just grab them. So you don't have to actually build something. The pile of Longevity Serums no one took our worlds was so sad. Yeah, I know. Pat took one of them because he's like, they looked so lonely. But it's definitely the worst of the 4 one per deck agendas. You already have enough points? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's huge. 18 agenda points. We're good. Okay, good. Okay, cool. Spin Doctor. Thank you. You only, yeah. Ugiada? Yagiuda? Yeah, no, I forgot. We're on 40 to 44 card minimum, so we only need 18 to 19 agenda points. We don't need to play more. Card literally has longevity in the name and you're building a rush deck. Okay, what else are we playing here? In terms of the assets, I don't think there's that many. I do want to see like what a mid-range Palana list look like. Can we just find like the Rotom Palana list and do that? 1 second. Because our goals are basically to play upgrades and to play we also want to play the lockdown by likes, I guess. I don't understand how popularity works. Porcupine Palana. No, just give me like this. This is the one I was thinking of. Okay. Wow, ice in here is actually pretty good. 3 Marcus Batty. Okay, we'll just say that it's the closest thing we have. It's just NGOs and Rashidas. Okay, 2 NGOs, 3 Rashidas. We are doing bigger agendas. Only 8 agendas though, but they are bigger ones. Okay, this is not exactly what we want. We'll still do something. You took one too? Have you played it yet? All right, we're gonna do Rashidas because it's amazing. NGO fronts, we can play maybe 2. That might be too slow. Then what else do we have here? None of the assets I don't think we really want to consider. We can maybe play a single cheeky snare. That probably isn't necessary. This would be better for playing Obokata, so I'm not actually sold on this. We'll probably cut it eventually. But like people should be playing around snare, so it's not going to do much. Now, if you have snare in your deck, sometimes they hit it, and then you have a window to score Obokata out, but I don't think it's going to be this deck. Okay, we still have a lot of influence. Let's get our upgrades in here because we know that what we want to do. I think we want to do 3 seamless launch, because we want to score these out very aggressively. We want to have only tempo positive agendas. We're largely there. Obokata might actually work in this. And then we can either have Lacostas. I do think we want, what's it called? Anoetic Voids. We might want some additional card draw. You've been studying Lost Geeks Palana. Does Lost Geeks have 1 snare in it? I wonder if we can just build it like PD with Seamless and maybe Arella or Lacosta and maybe Tranquility. Is there a Jinteki version of Tranquility? The closest would be Lacosta, which does give you like that pseudo click compression. An advancement is like akin to a card or 2 credits, technically. Not on like you need to survive to get the value. We could try Tranquility actually. Tranquility is like, I think, a pretty reasonable splash. It's just this forces us off agenda influence or ice influence anymore. But Tranquility is like fine. It also works with Anoetic really well to get cards back. Okay, so we're playing Hedge Fund. We need a fair bit of money. In terms of ice, I don't know if we can make a reasonable ice suite without spending influence though. Like I think we might need border control, stuff like that, because we are just totally lacking when it comes to barriers. You're gonna probably want to figure out your ice suite first. Yeah, Jinteki's ice is not amazing. So we'll play a single Bathynomus because archetype staple. Anemone, probably expensive for this deck. Not an ability really want. But I have all this nice with the Costa. I think we're gonna try Tranquility, yeah. I think Magnet's worth considering, yes. I think Border Control is very much worth considering, but then we'd have to probably not play the Tranquilities and not play the Foods, which is probably fine. Maybe we can do this. And then we can play Obokata, and then we have like 2 Border Controls. That also seems fine. And then we can play more upgrades that are in faction. Consider SSL. SSL has been banned from the format for a really long time, unfortunately. We'd almost definitely play it. At least 1 Thimble Rig. I want to play, yeah, 1 Thimble Rig, maybe 2. Our ice is not going to scale that well. Like, we're only going to run 1 or 2 higher end ice, and then everything else is going to be mid-range. So we're going to be looking at... Oh, wow, the ice is pretty bad, huh? Oh, the ice is really bad. Well, what happened to Jinteki? Completely missed that? Yeah, it's been banned for like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years. It's been a while. Oh my, the ice suite is terrible if you want to score agendas. When did this happen? Where were we? Did nobody say anything? I warned you. It's so bad. 2 Enigma? It's so bad. None of this ice suite helps you score agendas. It's all like nonsense. Oh, wow. Why do you think we flatline runners? Why do you think we don't play Jinteki? Oh, no. Okay. What can we do with this? Sandstorm. This is probably not worth rezzing. You can always endurance it too. Swordsman's like not the worst. It's not amazing, but it's not the worst. We don't have IP block. Yeah, it's not good. Ivik is not going to solve it. We're not running enough code gates. You're referencing to spend like 8 influence on ice. Yeah, the one that we're referencing was like running Toll Booth and Newshound. Oh, Newshound was really good when you could play it. IP block, a single Kakugo, 3 DNA tracker. I feel like DNA tracker is too big. What's the influence on building blocks? 2 or 3, but not worth it in a combo. 4. Never mind. Anansi is still a great piece of ice. Anansi is definitely still a great piece of ice. Oh, I was meant to add Anansi. Definitely not anymore. I just don't want to play like 3 of them because I think we're going to try and go fast. Like we can't resonate Anansi on Central and then jam the remote server. Braun are pretty good. Braun is like not the worst card. I think Braun is a bit underrated. I like Braun a fair bit. Maybe we can do this. No. Okay, we can do that and then we can play like a bunch of Lacostas. Yeah. You put Amor in again? Yeah, you're right. It's weird that keeps happening. Okay, we can play Ikes. It's like fine. It's totally fine. It's essential server ice, whatever. We want a big code gate, like, or at least we're playing Obakata, so we feel a bit better about this. Our money is really bad. I feel like we're not gonna be able to ice up centrals enough to play Subliminal, which is pretty good. FC3 is very legal. How's it gonna Plywood? It's just also a bunch of influence, 3 influence. And unfortunately, our influence is gone on some of the other stuff. I wonder if Braun is right. Because how much is on sell? On sell is like very comparable. Oh, no, it's 1 more. Braun, not so great if they're running at least 1 click most of the time. If they're running first click, if they click through a Braun and we have Anoetic, like I think we're fine with it. This is also like an okay ability if we trash our ice to like Hansei review in theory or like Anoetic Void. Chiashi is way too expensive for what we're trying to do. Like we cannot res 1 single ice that they get through for 2 net damage when they have an endurance. That's just not going to work. Yeah, this is all quite bad, honestly. Hansei for Econ, hey, George, I don't love it. We probably have to do it, though. It's like a bit better with our deck, for sure. We have nothing that fires really off archives. Our money is going to be the problem, I think, by a mile. I think we can cut the snare. I feel like there needs to be something spicy here. How much ice do we have? We only have 12 ice. Like, we need a fair bit more ice still. And, like, we've already kind of exhausted our options. Let's look at some of the bad ice. You may install a piece of ice from HQ, protecting another server, ignoring all costs. Chrysalis is like considered. Envelope is like on the verge of being considered. It just is very expensive and not very taxing, which is kind of what you're iced to do. 7 code gates enough for Ivik? Oh yeah, I guess we are on 7. Yeah. Konjin doesn't seem worth it. There's not many great targets. We definitely don't want a Konjin here. Konjin is a very expensive card. Tithe is honestly pretty nice. Tithe is not bad. Actually, I kind of don't mind Tithe. I feel like we're going to have to lean on the neutral suite a fair bit. For obvious reasons. Okay, I think we can cut the snare. I wish we had just like more influence to spend on card draw. Like I wish we had a planogram or something. Because if we don't find our agendas, we can't find our agendas. Obviously. Oh, white space is not the worst, but I think I'd rather have Thimblerig Enigma over white space. Because it's more about the loss of the click than anything else. If we were very brave, that's pretty bad. How many end the runs do we have? 1, 2, and a half, and a half. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, we would do. That's ugly. Ivik, install advance. 2 seamless launch, huh? Is Tithe about the same as your archetypal bath? Nah, it's different. Archetypal bath is 4 strength. It's good. This hand's awful. This hand is good. You have archetype, or it's not archetypal, it's faction. Bathynomus. Then we could do a Nancy, whatever central we're worried about. This is bad. Maybe Code Replicator makes your ice do more work. Code Replicator is a very, very niche card because it's a card that gives your opponent options. That's generally not a good thing. I think the only deck that I've ever seen Code Replicator do anything is an offer you can't refuse deck, because if they don't make a successful run, how does offer you can't refuse work? 15 ice is too much? I didn't realize we were in 15. They cannot jack out, so they can't jack out. So I think that's one of the only reasons I've ever seen that card do anything. Otherwise, it's like okay, I'll just jack out and run back, or I'll just go through the ice again. It's expensive. They can always jack. Like it just doesn't do enough. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. We're at 15. We should be at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're at 14, and I think we could cut one. Why are we looking at an offer you can't refuse? I think it's the only way to make Code Replicator do something. That's good, right? Like we just do Thimble Rig off-world credit. Did you just casually say, how does an offer you can't refuse work? Yeah. It was a good enough archetype. You just had to build central servers that didn't have end-to-run subroutines, and then you basically got to 6 points. Okay. That's a really good hand. This is a good enough hand, I think, maybe? Oh, this is awful. I think we just play another snare, but I feel like we don't have enough money. What do we do for money? Like, do we just play a genotyping and like just rip it? Let's just rip a genotyping. Does anyone ever get the twins to fire? Yeah, twins archetypes were actually really, really, really disgusting. I think the only win I've ever had against Alex Loper is a twins game. The twins worked with the Foundry. And then if you look up Grail Ice, it gets even better. But the only time twins ever works is with the Foundry. Check out the Foundry if you want to see the list. But there was ways that you could get an ice to do like 36 net damage. It was pretty wild. I'm going to do this. There's an obvious lack of ganked here. We don't even have good ganked targets. Like, you can hit my Evic again, I guess. It's not Panic anymore. It's just like Delusion. Oh, I saved it with no name. That's honestly good enough. It's not that much worse. Panic Palana. I guess this also needs quotes. Offer you can't refuse is a card I super love, but I've absolutely kept it on the queue because it's kind of a rules nightmare. That's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's technically the one that brings up like, well, in this situation, you could not do your on encounter before my on encounter, but like realistically, not really. It's a really good card. Yeah, Nato, you could do it. So look up Merlin, and then you just do Merlin, and Merlin was a card that could gain net damage subroutines, or technically any of the Grail Ice. And then on top of that, it kept them for the whole run. So you could just keep twinsing them into the same thing, because twins is not once per pass. It's as many times as you can afford to do it. So you needed 2 in Merlins in hand, if I'm not mistaken. New Corp deck. Jinteki no longer home to Panic PD deck. Panic Purple for sure. Panic Purple by a mile, Sophie. I think Panic PD or Panic Sports. I just want to see how bad this archetype looks like, and it seems like the biggest issue here is that we've lost all the ice. Oh, we didn't even play the thing that we wanted to play. Hold on. No, the thing we wanted to play is Hyobu Precog Manifold. That's the thing we want to play. Hold on, now we have a deck here. So this card is the one that you basically have to play a side game when they pass all the ice. That's what we want. So we cut the snare. We cut the horrible genotyping someone should have said no about. 13 ice, Hyobu Precog, good enough. Honestly, good enough. And then we cut one more thing. Ooh, we kind of want 3 seamless with Hyobu. Nah, we'll be fine. Panic Sports has no ring to it. Yeah, Panic PD does have a good ring to it. I think there was someone with a cute name. There's only 6 games. My White Blade sniper rate is going to go up so much higher. Hey, Pycat. When digging for older Palana builds, but the ice suite was built around Oboe for the most part. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Kiko. Hey. Thanks, CC. So Kiko says, whenever you run R&D, we have to secretly spend credits, kind of like a side game. But if we spent the same number of credits, they act as additional cards. So it punishes us for just saying 0 over and over again. And our opening hand has, like, we could, in theory, do... I'm going to mulligan this for economy, but like this is not the worst hand. That's better, I think. Like Bathynomus R&D, maybe. Wait, how does Shaper break sentries? I'm pretty sure the answer is boat. Okay, we're hoping to top deck and end the run. Otherwise we would put Enigma in the remote server, or actually we'd put Rashid in the remote server. We might have wanted to, yeah, I'm just going to ice R&D so we don't get locked. I'm going to do it with the Bathynomus. And I'm going to ice HQ because we have 3 like fragile cards in here. But ideally, we would have kept this for the Rashida. There's got to be a sports ball term that starts with a P. Pass? What do you do in sports? Environmental testing. Whoa. What? Whoa, what does that do? Customize Secretary. When you install Customize Secretary, reveal the top 5 cards of the stack. You may host any number of revealed programs here. Click to install a hosted program. So they pay 2 credits to draw their Upia. That's saying bad. At least it helps with environmental testing. That's kind of cool. That's actually kind of neat, huh? Draw. Draw for ice. Oh, we had a good run, y'all. Hey, Infusion, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Oboe plus Kamino, so it doubles the sums on the ice. Like Kamino twins? You could also do, there was, I think that card rotated, but there was a card that said you could like carry the ice down the server. Pathonymous, there's the Upia. Whenever you make a successful run RD, you may place power counter here. After 3 runs, they get a click. Wow, our Rashida would have stuck on the table. We did one of the worst plays ever, and we weren't punished for it. Okay, that's at least fine. Kamino plus code replicator? Yeah, but they just check out. Just check out. You don't have to keep going through it. Just check out and run back. What? Wait, what's happening? Oh, this thing sticks. Wait, how did this happen? How is there a second botulus here? The amount of Anansi respect here is absolute buck. I don't know how this is happening. Why? We'll res it. Can we consider ditching a card to get money from the ID? Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Our ID ability says something on it. All right, they broke 1. Now they can pay a credit. They'll get an Upia counter. That's totally fine. Technically, this works with deep dive. I'm not going to spend money. I don't want to draw agendas. You can see more cards. This is cool. I think they hard cast one of them. They could have died to snare there too. We don't have a snare. But that access, they would have died to also to like a anemone, which we don't have in the deck. Yeah, they respect a spider, but they didn't respect the other ones, which I'm kind of surprised. So they know the 2 cards we're drawing. Okay, I feel like this is a Hansei turn if I've ever seen one. Okay, so they can always simulchip botchless the remote server, that's for sure. They're going to see 2 cards off of R&D. There's not much we're going to do about it. We have Seamless. This hand is really ugly with the Nanoetic. So we're just going to go server 1. I think we have to Hansei something. And then I think we just Hyobu. And so now when they run that server, they have to play a side game. A lot of people don't like to do that, so they just don't. Now they can run R&D and see 2 cards here. I feel like they did put all their eggs in one basket, which is something we could eventually deal with. Hansei Rashida? Yeah. No, I'd rather keep the Rashida. The second Nanoetic is not that necessary. Like, we already have 1, and we can't really even fire this one. Rashida is the thing that we want to put in next turn to break R&D lock. Because if we can't figure out how to break R&D lock, probably not going to win. Do we want to pay credit here? No, because they're going to run R&D next turn for free. So like blocking the single axis here or the double axis doesn't change that much. They trash the Spin Doctor. They could go back for another card next turn. So it's just not worth the credit. I don't know. Maybe on this board state where we're scoring the off-world, we can probably pay 1. Okay, then we'll Riggs Rest. So now they'll have to simulchip a Botulus if they want to get through here. They still have to play the side game. And this, unfortunately, when the rubber makes it successful, that's actually, we have to do the Anoetic first. So they're going to force us to trash 2 cards from hand. RD lock doesn't seem like a huge issue. You have 4 points in hand and 2 on the table. Oh, don't have anything in the bin. Right, that doesn't work. Unless you have something in the bin, you can't trash that? That's the ruling with Simulchip. Like, while you can Simulchip, it's the same card. If you don't have a program, you can't do this. I think. Swap Thimble Rig? Honestly? I don't think we need to. I'd rather protect the Anoetic. We could consider swapping the Thimble Rig. Okay, they could trash her off-world. Oh, we have a DNA. That seems good. I just advanced a thing. I didn't realize Seamless doesn't care. Wow, Seamless doesn't care. All right. Yeah, it needs a target, so they didn't have a target. Man, customized secondary. Okay, obviously it's not very good, but like just being, you know, a reasonable enough way to like get pawn shop triggers. Okay, so here they can go find a program. We can always like Anoetic Void. But if we do the Anoetic Void, what does it cost us? We could throw out, we don't really want to throw out these. Let's see what they pull out. We're going to lose this, but that was the cost of doing this play. It probably wasn't right. And now they trash the thing. So they have a hyperbaric. Okay. So if they want to deal with a DNA tracker, it's going to be really expensive. They need an overclock. And they don't really have economy here. They haven't played any creatives. They played one sure gamble. So we're going to jam this next turn. Swap Thimble Rig. Yeah. Probably not. So we'll do this on R&D. What is this? It's an Enigma. That's really bad. Remember we put like 7 Kogates in the deck? Secondary takes on MU. It definitely takes up an MU, but if you're a pawn shop deck, I don't know if it matters that much. I just wish, like, after cash is rotated, I miss cards like this, which are just like tempo neutral to positive ways to use programs once they're done. Like, I love myself an empty imp to spec work. Daredevil, so cool. Unfortunately, this DNA tracker is going to fire. Oh, unless they want to botulus like one of the subroutines, this DNA tracker is going to do net damage. It's not going to rob their credits. R&D is hopefully safe for a bit, yeah. Overinstall the ice with the botulus over them? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, if we overinstalled, we would have been smarter. Yeah, 100% misplay. If we overinstalled the Bathonimus, their simul chips would have been uglier. Yeah, that's actually a pretty big mess up. So they drew 2, but they lost, what did they lose? Top Hat? Yeah, why do people not play Top Hat into the other card that works with Top Hat? Yeah, this was a big mistake. Insight? Why do people not play Insight Top Hat? Is the game too fast? I guess we have Spin Doctor now. I will pay 1 because they can't. They do get OP. Oh, feels bad. This deck looks fun. It looks fun. They don't have money. Looks fun though. Overpriced but fun? Yes, this is a slightly overpriced. It's a very powerful ability. 2MU also back in the day used to be like 4+ credits. Running archives here. They're just turning off our ability. That's reasonable. I do think they need to worry about their money more than they need to worry about ours though. Swap Thimble Rig. Oh man, our remote server is awful. We could consider just jamming this. I think we do install advance. Why play Insight when you play Deep Dive? It's twice as many cards. You have to run all 3. That's hard. This doesn't feel good. We need our Yobus. I wonder if also we should play more lockdowns if we can actually just play Cordon, because Cordon's like fine, I guess. What are we doing? They don't know we have this. They have 3 cards in hand. They have to deal with a Tithe, so they have to have 5 cards. I'm going to go for it. I'll advance it. This is a bit risky. Runners have a boat. It's not that hard to run. 3 times? Boat doesn't do 3 times. I thought you just do boat and endurance insight. It doesn't shuffle either. So like you lock the deck. I don't know. Seems okay. Did we do a last minute switch? Yeah, Thanos. We put Oboe back in because our influence was a bit too tight. We also had to cut a seamless, which I'm regretting. Diesel draw 3. Again, they just don't have money. Oh, if they run this, they draw 2 cards. This Oboe's not safe. What am I doing? I hope they don't call us on that. They might respect Anansi. They seem to respect Anansi the way that we saw them play the early game. I do wish I trashed this thing. It would have been a very different game. I guess they just trashed the Upia. We'll see if the Upia does anything. At least it's free. It takes up MU though. It's wild. I feel like our ice suite should have changed a bit to account for Oboe scoring. Oh, it's fine. Oboe scoring is really easy with Lacosta. If you mean like play anemones, yeah, maybe. I think we could add spicier ice. I think you're right about that. Swap Thimble, no. All right, Spin Doctor's good. So we could seamless this so that we could hedge fund. If we seamless this, we go to low credits, but that's, I don't think, a big deal. We discard a card anyways. Oh, I think we do seamless this. Because we have a La Costa. So either put the Spin Doctor in and then we can get our ability to fire. Let's do that. Let's do this and then res last click like absolute champs. Okay, cool. We could have actually discarded an agenda. That would have been fine. We don't want 2 agendas in hand. Deuces, that's influence. But their economy has bottomed out. It's a pretty fun matchup though. It's nice that they're trying something different. Yeah, this is cool. Like I didn't want to, the Secretary is like a really weird card, but I love to see the weird cards because you kind of see some benefits of it. They're exposing a tight, so they're making this run here. The DNA tracker is going to fire once. They're also running with a Spin Doctor and a face down. Generally you want to shuffle those. It's not the most important. Mobius, okay. They're Morbin. This card's so greedy. Absolute greed. Maybe we should run a single virus thing. Do we want to pay credit here? No, they can see whatever they want. We have the win in hand. Like next turn we do hedge fund install Nisei Yobu. To trash an NGO front, that's fine. Less credits for them. And a remote server is really bad. Oh, Upia, okay. First time Upia is fired. And they're just clicking for credits. So this was gain a credit. Upia. Swap Thimble Rig. Yes. Okay, cool. So we're going to crack this. We'll shuffle back in some cards. Hey, Pat. Seamless, I guess. Seamless? That we can do. Which one would we want them to have? It doesn't really matter. Server 1. Hedge fund. Precog. You have 4 clicks. They have a click for 3 credits here. Click for 1 credit here. They can always draw 2. They know the DNA is here. They have to win the side game. But if they just call it and run the remote server, like we do lose. Pat sent me a game today that he wanted me to try. Thanks, Pat, for the gift. Customize secretary. Pat, what's the game? Wait, it whiffed? The customized secretary just flat whiffed? So they rejigged it to see 5 more cards and it found just the Gauss. This card costs 2 credits. Oh no. Case of the Golden Idol. Like they paid 2 and they rejigged it. The fact that you can rejig the customized secretary actually makes it kind of interesting and I would want to play with this card more. It's definitely not better. It doesn't seem like anything else, but like paying 2 credits to get nothing seems like kind of rough. But at least they gave him technical secretary. All right, and that should be game. They could see 2 cards here. They actually could win. Oh no, they can only see 1 card. Are they just running to draw 2 cards? It's a mystery game. 11 separate scenarios that formed a link narrative. So that will be it. DNA was good. Good game. Secretary seems like a really cool card. And when it came out, it was like entirely dismissed because like you had self-modifying code. Why do this? Oh, they say eh, which is not a great sell. But this card is like very laughable when it came out. And you can see like huge downsides. This didn't seem good. They paid 6 credits to draw 2 cards. When it hits, it's great. How many programs? You got a lot. All the while collecting words. And then you fill in a partially blank sheet to solve the mystery. There's a free demo on Steam. Just go play it, people. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, you said it was like Oberdin, and I'm a big Oberdin fan. The Oberdin soundtrack is so good. Each scenario is a scene frozen at the moment of a person's death. Okay, so it's exactly Oberdin. Q-Bound's my favorite include. Oh, it's super cool. Yeah, I don't know. If this was cost nothing, if this clicked and installed the cards cheaper or like free, that would be nonsense good. But there's a lot of ways you can make an ability like this interesting. You know, Frisbee, how's it going? Thanks for the game, eh? Speaking of new games, have you tried Marvel Snap? It's actually pretty good. Yes, I'm on Pool 3 in Marvel Snap. We've talked about it, I think, last week for the first time. I think Marvel Snap is actually really clever. If you played Airland and Sea, you've played Marvel Snap, but Marvel Snap is really polished. Peddler's got a better secretary. Peddler's got it better than every card in the game, though. But yeah, Peddler's is a like a more fun, better version of that for sure. I'd rather play Peddler if I could. Feel like if they didn't take a click to install off secretary, but be much more interesting. Yeah, if you could install them clicklessly, right? And it became like an unreliable self-modifying code. Like that's kind of the power level you'd expect. And yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be cool. Pretty cool way to enter chat. Hey, Solomir, what you got? Feels like Paulo's Cafe would be better than Secretary. Paulo's Cafe like doesn't exactly do what the Secretary does. So the Secretary does two things, right? Like it allows you to install your stuff, but it also allows you to draw things from the top of your deck. And Paulo's obviously doesn't do that. But yeah, half of the power there is similar to Paula. Still haven't made a coffee tribal deck. It's just so hard. Hey James, Peddler is great because he plays 0 cost resource and it looks at 8 cards. Wait, what? Peddler's only 3. Hey, this is the Diana's Hunt deck. We're gonna mulligan this hand. It's really bad. Gachapon is like what? 0 for 6? Is Gachapon free? This hand's bad. I think we have too few ice. I think we did cut back 1 or too many ice. At least we have a Spin Doctor. And with Spin Doctor, we can always Hansei review. Turn 1. Oh, this hand's abysmal. All right, well, new remote. And then we'll just Hansei away. That, I guess. 11 credits. I'm joking. Oh, about chaining peddlers? Sure. Yeah, peddler into peddler. I see what you mean. That does happen. When someone peddlered into peddler, you know things are going bad. They are largely just looking for clot in their noise deck. All right, Padma. And it's a bird deck, so our cards can be derezzed. That's a problem. We don't have a robust economy. Now the birds are bad. They're expensive. You'll see how this works. Running archives here, we're going to have to respect it. They can steal the avocado. We don't want to let that happen. I wonder if they don't charge Rashida. Solomir knows the deck list. Yeah, you charge Rashida. Ooh, nice. That's creative. That's good. All right, hedge fund. Let's do another Spin Doctor. We just want ice. Oh my. Do you ever precog the Spin Doctor? Do you ever do it? So what can we do here? We could draw 1 and discard 1. What will we discard? Probably the second Anoetic. We want ice. Some days you just don't get the ice you want. Okay, so we're gonna discard 2 here. So I think we just click for credit. This is abysmal. This is bad. Luckily they don't have a lot of run economy. It's not like they're dirty laundering. Like we're actually making Solomir spend clicks. Well, this was good. We got 2 credits from this. Maybe 15 ice. Yeah, I feel like 13's a kind of what you'd expect for like maybe more of an asset matchup. Flame out. Oh, that's cool. That works with the birds. What is this? Hello? Hello? Ice? Giving the birds a chance to come out of play. I know. Yeah, we're just waiting. The birds are expensive even used even when I cheat them out. The shuffler heard Jinteki didn't have any good ice, so they're trying to do you a favor and not make you draw it. You know, sometimes this is what it takes for you to top deck your like your envelope and be like, oh, you're not so bad after all. I don't know if this is the play. This is probably not the play. We're forcing Solomir to do stuff though. I think Rashida is the big hit here. And like maybe you could run centrals, but at this point, like we've Spin Doctor 3 cards away aggressively, so you don't think we have more agendas than HQ. Ah, oh, sick. Sick. Oh, no, we have to pre-install that. I hate this deck. This is the worst deck ever made. Like, how do you Anoetic this hand? Anoetic is garbage. Mascaropka looking pretty good right about now. How much influence is it? I'll play Mascaropka, please. I'll never complain again. Who needs ice when you have a precog? No, honestly, Lucas, I was thinking about it, just like jamming this out. Obviously, behind a single ice is a lot better, but like next turn we just didn't do install advance Yobu behind an ice. Oh, it's endurance. We still do it. Oh, it's a rigging up endurance. We still do it. Oh, it's 5 advances, 5 power counters, 6 power counters. How is it 6 power counters? Oh, because of Padma. Can we just like, can we just do a different game? You cannot play 2 Hyobus. Maybe we can just like, When life gives you lemons, you got lemons now. Enjoy the lemons. Lemons are honestly not that bad. Like, you can get used to them. Some people eat lemons. Just win the side game. Just win 4 side games. They run R&D. Oh, okay, 3 side games. The most they can run this is 3. We'll win every single side game. Solomir has joke credits. Solomir, can you use your credits from Flameout to play side games? No, you've fundamentally mismanaged your economy. Bad for your teeth? No. You're thinking of sugar. Lemons are good for you. Yeah, Takobi's gonna help you with my thimble rig. I'm getting salty. I mean, look at all like NGO if Solomir didn't just trash them all. Yeah, this would be cool. Into the depths? Into the depths? With Hyobu precog manifold? Solomir is so brave, and I respect it, because I'm gonna win the side game 100% of the time, actually. He's made a horrible mistake. You can't go down to 1 credit? I feel like you might have made a mistake here. Wait, what? Oh. What? If successful? When the runner makes a successful run? What? Hyobu doesn't stop success? What? You read it? You read the card? Always lucky. Never wrong there. Never wrong. Come back, Solomir. I can do that again. I can do it literally 1 more time. After that, I'm out of luck. They gave up. Shit. Oh, steal it. Oh, now you die. Now you die to my Roman. Perfect. Do we seamless this out? No. Yeah, now try and get a successful run. Yeah, that too. Okay, so now we can Nisei Mark II there into the depths. I'm surprised you didn't run R&D. I guess you kind of don't need more bow counters at this junction. There you go. I don't know how we win. Didn't trash that. Love it. That's really good. We want to draw. Okay, you need to keep an air of mystery. You're going to want to draw once more. Okay, and now you realize the Pathonimus is very bad into the boat. At least this is going to make him spend boat counters, so this is not like open season. I feel like that is good. Anoetic is good, but then you look at your hand and think, I built a hand I never want to discard. We'll be okay. 1 ice in the top 16? Yeah, 2 ice now. And it's not even, it's like, it's the top 16, but we did spin doctor a whole bunch. It's like the top 20. Solomir is going to respect this Pathonimus? I'm hoping. In theory, he's like really prepped to deal with Anansi. So I don't think he really has a reason to respect it. We did draw a lot. There's the Anoetic. Okay, so when you throw out 1, you lose the second one immediately. That's worth knowing. The Flamehead though, like, eventually you put a Mayfly on that, but you're probably going to put a bird on that. Okay, we have a window. Swap Thimble Rig. No. Enigma. Okay, now we're talking. Draw. All right, our last Spin Doctor, a very valuable card. I think we put that in the remote server. There's no Anansi. No, Scrub. We got 1 Anansi, 1 DNA tracker. We have 2 heavy hitters because we're meant to be a rush deck. And by a rush deck, I mean we were just trying to draw an ice by like turn 7, turn 8. Which we did it. But we're not meant to be like the AgInfusion list. Yeah, I thought he was going to run HQ. So Lacosta can't trash that. He knows that it's there. Luckily his economy is not doing much either. Something's in the remote server, and he knows it's not a Lacosta, so he might be more interested in running a remote server. The thing is with Anansi, like it's 4 bow counters. That's a lot of bow counters. Yeah, okay. So this is 2 boat counters. All right, so at least it's not free boat counters. And like, you do break this. This is as good as all the other ice. Okay, got lucky. Creative. Nice. Swap. No. Oh, Bran. Braun's good. Braun is 2 bow counters. Braun's actually not that good. Anybody know what's the cheapest 3 sub ice? I wish NRDB had subroutine. Cheapest Ike. Ike's the cheapest 3 sub ice. I'm actually feeling pretty confident about that saying. There's no 0 cost 3 sub ice. There's 1 cost 3 sub ice. If there's 0 cost 3 sub ice, it's like it fires once, like something like an Amor, which is 1 subroutine, but it's definitely Ike. All right, let's get some options. Oh, slow down there, my friend. Options we have. Now, economy we don't have, but luckily we can just click for a credit and discard this. Ike isn't good versus boat though? No, but I would like to say that I very, very quickly answered the question correctly, and I'm not getting praise for that. And that upsets me. Instead, you come in and you say, but actually, your knowledge was not necessary. You're right, though. It's not very good against boat. It's okay. For 1 cost, it's actually pretty good. Bath Fermenter. Okay. I appreciate the suggestion. Anytime. Okay. I do forget that we have a Nisei Mark II here. So I think we put this in. We put the Nisei, and do we do Hyobu? Unfortunately, we have to do Hyobu after we do the Nisei token. How often can you run this server? Turns out a lot. Like literally a lot. Okay, so I think we're gonna hold that in HQ, and he's not gonna snipe it. I just wish we were doing more on our turn than clicking for 2 credits. Yeah, that would be grand. So we draw a 2nd click, feels bad. Oh, Ivik though. Speaking of feels bad. Imagine resing this for 5 credits and takes 2 boat counters. I feel like that might be a boat problem though, not an Ivik problem. I miss you, Web. Me too. I miss you, Web. Beth. No 5-click turn yet. 5-click could actually be bad considering we have Nisei Mark and Hyobu, and this remote server only taxes out something. But like Solomir wants to make 1 successful run a turn. HQ is the target, so we have a 1 in 5 for it being very bad. You can always run archives to turn us off. Oh, and Ngolo. That can be good for us. It's only code gates. Res Anansi. Okay, this will be most of our money. But this is either use most of the boat or 5 credits from the Ngolo. Oh, if he ever uses his bird to derez our Anansi, yeah, it's pretty bad. So I think we're gonna get Takobi, yeah. Okay, so it's 7. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, Takobi, I counted Takobi. I thought they would Takobi it all the way down, but they didn't. Did they have enough? I think they did. Oh, no, because it's 2 for 3. Yeah, so they did. Swap Thimble Rig. Yeah. Wait, are we scoring this turn? We do install advanced Hyobu? Yeah, okay, why not? Why not? So let's get back in some, I just think just some raw economy, right? Analytics would be good because we're going to be on game point, actually. Let's just do that. Something like that. So now they have to go through the Anansi every time to play the Hyobu. I think Hyobu is like not bad as long as you believe in yourself. Lemons. They're drawing up. Good start. Now, this is not an off-world office, but eventually with 2 Nisei Mark IIs, it's like pretty easy for us to score on Obokata, I'd hope. With a single Anoetic and 2 Nisei, it's like, it's a lot of work. And at least that we have this cheap ice here. Like their birds are not that good. Simulchip gets some. Oh, wow. They threw out 2 birds. I didn't realize that. Okay, so this is the Code Gate bird, and this is the Sentry bird running HQ. Yobi feels pretty great until you lose a side and back in the binder for Battlefields. I still think it's worth it, right? Like the amount of like psychological warfare that this plays on your opponent is definitely worth it. So here we can either Lacosta to save a Seamless, or we can Lacosta and I think we res the Lacosta no matter what. So I think we're going to Lacosta and then see what we top deck. If we have a jammer, then we jam. The problem is like they stole the Obokata. There's only one more Obokata, so we're probably going to just score out 4 agendas. The Lacosta is probably worth resing. 9 boat counters. All right, that's okay. 10 boat counters. That's fine. That's fine. This is fine. I didn't mean to do that. That's fine. The damage goes both ways. I haven't lost a side game yet. I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, we'll res this. We don't have money. They know that the card that we're drawing. Do we swap that? I think we do swap it. No, it protects the Lacosta. I think we do. We can lose the Lacosta pretty easily, I think. Enigma is a bad draw. Okay, so I don't think we Seamless this. Because with the 2 Seamlesses, we can score out an Obokata. Once you got a 2 Name State, the boat counters barely matter for the remote. It just clicks now. Yeah, the boat counters will matter. The problem is like Angolo doesn't matter. We just need a sentry. The problem is like relevant sentries in a deck is basically the Anansi. I think the issue here is we're going to get the Anansi D-resed. I think it's really expensive for them, but we might get the Anansi D-res because the Anansi to Kobe D-res is really bad. We might have actually wanted to not rearrange those. Yeah, so we'll see. I think we're gonna get the Nazi D-res on that, which at least lets him show his deck. But the problem here is we're destitute. We got Armando. Yeah, it was the Enigma. They saw it. That's all good. It's hard to fix. Oh, really? Really? Oh, he's sick. Thanks. Economies are firing on all cylinders. Yeah, we've respected our Panic restoring humanity credits. We got like 4 credits. But yeah, we don't want to get the Nancy D-res immediately. It'd be really bad. That being said, getting a D-res on a turn that they can hammer their remote server, that we have to eat the Nisei counters, it's equally bad. At least then it's clicks. Like we can tax out clicks. Oh, is that we saw the Mando, so take it back. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. If we saw the Mando, who cares? So this is an unknown card. Again, they're just Takobi works really well with the birds. Swap. No. This is not worth de-resing? Not that expensive to do. It's pretty expensive. So one turn they're going to crack the fermenter, and then they're going to use the simul chip on the same turn to install a bird. Anoetic Void, that's our last one that we shuffled back. That gets trashed. So it's an unknown card on top of R&D. They're just checking, making us flip. Feels bad. Now, cool thing is anything we put in their remote server, they have to consider running. Like this. I don't think we advance it again. Because then it looks like an Obokata and then they're more likely to run it. I think we'd rather do that. I don't know if that's right. I think we're going to speed run getting our Anansi D-resed, but I feel like this makes it look more like it's an Obokata. If we double advanced it, there's like no way it's an Obokata. Maybe this is a Bioball too. So now they're going to actually do something with their bird. Which is okay, because we're still in 7 credits. So we're going to see their bird do a thing. Buckle up. Simul chip. Oh, they might just break it. That's cool too, I guess. Yeah. Oh no, here we go. Simul chip. Golden. Host it on Flameout. Okay. Get it up to 5 strength by using 4 Takobi counters. Okay. Now you have to break all subject 17, so that's 4 more credits. This is so expensive. At least this is Flameout credits. And then 6 credits more to D-res. So it was 2 to install, 4 Takobi counters, and they did it. They D-resed their ice. The text isn't active. All right. That's like the most reasonable way to D-res an NC with that bird, I guess. And we have another Lacosta to put in next turn. Use the credits to pay for using hosted programs. When a turn ends, when would you use credits to trash the host program? So trashing the program wouldn't be that bad. If they ever use the flame out, we could always like end the run. If they keep the bird on there, I don't think it's going to happen. NGO front was a really good draw. I don't know if we have 2 or 3 in the list. Oh, we have 3. Fantastic. That's a really good top deck. And the stone ship. Swap, no. Do we need to put in a Lacosta? We got 2 seams. Oh, we want to put in a Lacosta because it makes anything we put in the remote server worth trashing. Tithe is good. Tithe is actually a boat or an Angolo. That's actually not bad. This they break for 5. That's pretty good too. So what's the turn? We install the Lacosta, we install the Tithe. I don't think we ever want to install the Enigma. It breaks for 2. So we can draw once first. Okay, border control is really good because we have border control, Nisei, if we get the Lacosta. So we can score out. But again, we need to store probably 2 agendas because they store the Obokata. I do see why you'd want a deck with 3 Obokatas. Don't get a discard here. Yeah, Lacosta is just good. It's something that they would consider running. If they know we have it. They're just going to draw 2 here. Beth got a credit. This looks more like a Rashida. They've only seen 1. Oh, all 3 NGOs are out, actually. Oh, yucks. The deck is making me panic internally, so I guess in a sense it's a good Panic Palana. Isn't this bad? Isn't this, like, not good? It's, like, so wild how much worse this deck was. And mind you, when this deck was, like, the best, we had some of the best mid-range code gates. Like, you had the slot machines, you had the Engram plush, and now you have Bathonimus on R&D, my friends. Oh, Bathonimus on R&D. But yeah, eventually if we border control Hiss, there's a bunch of running they have to do. Okay, so we can't res the Anansi. So this is why putting something in the remote server is kind of nice. If we res the Enigma, it puts us down to 4. But they have to break for 2 or boat counters. I don't think their economy is as good as... It's about equally as bad as ours, so I think I'm okay with this. Oh, 2 boat counters. Okay, I think we're fine with that. Farther away from the Anansi. This is 4 more to trash. They didn't. Do they know we have seamless? Kakago Engram Ice Weight is taking a dive. Yeah, Kakago was good. It's funny enough, the one like big Palana deck we looked at was only running a single Kakago. Yo, Steven, how's it going? What's up? Only being able to jump on the stream. We are playing the closest the closest we can to modern to like a Panic Palana, and it's really quite bad, man. How are you doing? I think you'd appreciate that this deck is running the Falcons and the Twinning, which got discarded. But it's running Falcons on Flame Out, which is pretty fun. I wonder if they're going to de-res the Bathonimus. That is kind of expensive, but I think expensive to us as well. Swap Thimblerig, so we actually can stop the Bathonimus from being de-res this turn. No, I'm okay with the de-res this. It seems really expensive. Like they paid 5 to install this, right? Now to de-res this, it's going to be 1 real credit. I think they're de-resing it. Yeah, they're de-resing it. No, they're not. Oh, they are. Yeah, okay. How good is Panic Palana? About as good as Saker, it seems. Yo, Saker's doing work. Unknown off of R&D. We're going to have to click for more credits because the Bathonimus needs to come back up. The Endurance is like low-key the best thing in their deck. And I don't think that's low-key. Claude in the bin. Okay. I think that's pretty obvious. Oh, that's perfect. What a top deck. Economic Denial? What are you talking about? I think we draw here. Last click obviously is wrong, but now we can discard a card to get our ability. And then next turn we could like maybe Hansei this. What's Panic Palana then? It's just like a good stuff deck that's easy enough to play. That is like pretty satisfying. Yeah, they know our economy's bad. It's just kind of easy to play. It's always like good enough, and it's generally was okay, good regardless of the meta. It's just kind of like, you know, comfort food of a deck. Panic at the Palana. Yeah, this is Panic in the Humanity. 9 more credits on Flame Out. Okay. Do we have anything in the remote server? We have 3 Spin Doctors out. I totally forgot about this. So we have no more NGO fronts. We have no more NGO fronts. We have 1 more Hyobu. This seems bad. This does seem bad. We will draw once. That is a play for the remote server. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of this thing. Okay, we're back in it. It's taking the panic theme in a different direction. Instead of relieving panic pre-tourney, it's creating panic while in game. Oh, boy. 14 cards left in their stack, 7 in grip. Only 5 credits, but again, all those bird counters are here. It was an easy deck to just throw in your bag before tourney, yeah. Oh, you have 2 bow counters. I don't know what this is doing. Like, I don't know what Solomir's multi-axis is. It looks like it is actually the twinning, which is kind of surprising if all their credits from a card installed their only flameout, because that's kind of hard. Like, you don't use flameout that consistently to build the twinning. So I wonder if there's like a single mantle or something strange. I don't know if you influence. Oh, Bethclick. Yeah. Yeah, we finally have 15. Twitter is dying, and I'm trying to tell people the new social media site is the comment section of Métropole Grid videos. It has been for a while. We've had some issues with misinformation, that's for sure. But largely, it's been okay. How many agendas in your last 12? Good question. 1 Nisei, 3 4-2s, and 2 Obas. So 6. Half of the deck. Oh, I didn't realize we only have 12 cards there. We're gonna have to res this. And this is why the Lacoste like has power. And again, they don't know what you're on Seamless. I told everyone in the comment section, look, if you don't answer this email by 5 o'clock, you'll be fired. And they were like, that was pretty reasonable. All right, so that's half the boat flushed. Nothing to see here. The day a comment on MG video tanks the stock price of a fracking company, I think we can all just retire. It's just a matter of time. Oh, man. Rashida, yeah. Hey, y'all. Insulin is free. Whoops. 8 credits, 2 clicks again. Now we're not giving them Beth click, so joke's on someone, I guess. This will probably get birded at some point. What's the other bird they have? I think they have Barrier Bird, right? Oh, they have Decoder Bird. They don't have Saker. So hopefully we top deck something nice and jam it. Again, Diana's Hunt. Hold on. Diana's Hunt. Make a run. Whenever you encounter a piece of ice during this run, you may install a program from your grip, ignoring all costs. When this run ends, trash all programs installed during using Diana's Hunt. So this saves them 1 credit on a bird and a click. I kinda just want to Nisei this. So if we like use the Nisei Mark II counter on this thing, it's just gonna end the run. Now, if they install the breaker and use everything to de-res Nonce, I think we're fine with that. Like, that's probably fine. They have to break this. Oh, SMC from hand. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of... Okay. Weird. What's happening? Now they're using the SMC. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. That seemed like some value. I don't know if that was 4 influence, 4 credit value. So now they hit this. So they install the bird for 1. It goes on here. And then, yeah, we lose this. It's, again, 6 credits of a flameout. I don't know if that was worth de-resing, though. I mean, I don't know if that's worth Niseiing. I think we need the Nisei to win. It's a single Anansi. Actually, if we had just about any other sentry here, it would be, like, fine. Okay. Return to hand. The access to the coast again. Phenomenal. All right. I don't think so. Good. All right. 6 and 11 on R&D. We just need to draw the Obokata. We're getting our RH money, which is great. Border control in their mode seems important, so we'll set that up. So we're going to need 4 + 8. So we'll have that next turn, plus advancement cost. That's a bit difficult. But they have to run their mode server 4 times. It's going to be difficult within Ngolo having to deal with the border control. I guess they could endurance it some amount of times. But like, there's a big chance that we just, I don't know. I think we need something on R&D. But if we top deck the Obokata, we have a chance of winning. Because we just do install credit. We could also lose the Obokata here. I think we do res the Bathynomus. Yeah. We'll res the Bathonomus. 9 is fine. Again, we probably don't res the Anansi anymore. I think it's just all about clicks. So here it's in 4 plus Nisei plus Nisei plus this. We just don't want them to steal the Obokata. Last Obokata would be a problem. They would have to steal 2 agendas. Come on. Nothing. Wow. At least with double seamless on this, we can draw. Like, we can break R&D lock while finding agendas. Their economy is not entirely dried up. They'll click for 6 credits next turn. R8's ability has been fine. Like, they've checked it a fair few, but like it's been okay. I don't know who the bird has been worse for, but this is the only deck I've seen in a long time that's actually using birds to do what the birds want to do. It just turns out it's appropriately costed. Credit? Are they going to gamble? All running HQ. Okay, what do we have here? Tithe? I think we res a Tithe. I think Tithe is just good enough to res. Because I don't think they break this. If they lose the bird to this, that's interesting. But they can't boat counter through this. Well, we probably get our credit back. There's no way they can have to boat through the Tithe, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So free res. We hit a Diana's Hunt. Nice. Single axis, seamless. Okay. I think they know we have a DNA tracker in hand. Now they know that we have a seamless. And there's a, whoa, daily cast, which means that we actually can draw once into an agenda here. Will we want to swap the Thimble Rig onto server 6? It helps if we can score out to win, but it makes R&D really fragile. That's actually interesting. It might be the right call. If we can draw once into the Obokata, which is like 1 in 10, then we'll win. Swap this to Anansi. Like we could res the Anansi. Maybe we have to make them respect the Anansi. Draw. Well, when life gives you lemons, you now have lemons again. Still with those goddamn lemons, huh? All right. So this looks like the winning oboe. So they might just go like wild into R&D. Unfortunately, it wasn't the oboe. So left in R&D is every single copy of Off-World Office and then 2 Obokatas. So it's 5 out of 9 on R&D. So we're probably not going to win, and it's mostly because we drew all our agendas on turn 1 to 3 and shuffled them back, and then we're just not going to draw them again. It's like one extreme or the other. I wonder if it was right to draw once again, because again, the Obokata changes everything. Now here we res the Lacosta. The problem is like we can't really afford to use, we can use 1 Nisei token on this run. Not sure if I've ever seen 3 marks. I honestly don't know if I've seen that in a long time. They have 9 credits. I need to sneeze. I think we're gonna have to play 1 side game. Plus, Proto, we got a free agenda. Yeah, but we can't spend all of these on the agenda. Like if we use every single Nisei to get 1 Nisei, that's not good. This is where GFI is nice. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's kind of similar to Obokata. I think our Ice Suite is actually better suited for GFI than Obokata. That being said, our influence is not well suited for GFI. But yeah. Gotta believe in the hardened cards. I've never not. I'm gonna believe in them. Please bounce off of this. Please just bounce. Please just give me 3 credits. Now either they can pay 3 to 4 or 2 bow counters. Okay, they're breaking it. I mean, if we get to score this 3rd one, we get the last agenda as soon as we install it. Yes. That's the idea. But we need to have enough counters. So obviously we let them go through as much of this as we can. And I think we can use 1 Nisei counter here. If we use 1 Nisei counter, we can make the Hyobu precog mana full 100%. This is interesting. How much do we bet on this side game? I feel like I have fought so hard that I don't want to lose the side game that I'm going to Nisei here. Because if they go back, they have to spend, like they can boat through this, then they have to break this again. And then they won't have side money. Not if I'm confident. So far this game, not sure if I'm there. Nah, I'm going to side game it. Yeah, Hyobu is strange. I'm going to just Nisei it. Like, the thing is, if they ever access with fewer than 2 credits, the Hyobu is guaranteed. While it's expensive, it's guaranteed. So now they could like click for credit, go back. Still difficult. And their economy hasn't scaled well. Again, they did install their daily cast, which is technically credit negative. Okay, so here they have to boat the border control, right? Yeah, they have to. I hate that the Hyobu gives them a bow counter. But now if they break this, they don't have Hyobu money. So I feel like this is fine. Right? Like if they don't lose a click to this, we can Hyobu them. But if they lose a click to this, we can always border control or Nisei. Nice Palana deck. Yo, it's happening, Epic. What are you talking about? Haven't you seen our good ice? Turn 20 Thimble Rig? Wait, why did they do this? Are they just forcing us to pay 2 credits? They get a bow counter. But now they force us to pay 2 credits. Am I missing? They have no way to get credits instantly. Yeah, we'll pay 2 credits. Budget, we probably should have paid 1 because I think they're going to pay 0. Yeah, we should have paid 1. 1 strike neural katana R&D. That was like the second ice we drew, and it was like on turn 5. And the runner has to break this with boat or Ngolo. It's honestly been okay. It's been fine. My favorite Hyobu interaction is light the fire. Wait, Lucas, how does that work? It doesn't. Hyobu still works, right? Because it's not an installed card. Oh man, we're gonna lose R&D now. There's like 5 agendas and 9 cards. Yeah, like even if we can win the remote server, I don't know how we win on R&D. And the wild thing is like we haven't scored all 4 offices, so our economy next turn is gonna be actually we're gonna have money from here. You see, they have to. This fires. It still blows up the remote. Oh, because it's a successful run. Yeah. Oh, this does fire unless they boat it, which I'd be surprised. Yeah, it's still successful. Right. Oh, they boated it. Pickwin, what are you talking about? This card's amazing. Okay. Please just be the Obokata if anything. Okay. Huge. Last turn, if we drew once more, we would have won the game. They lost Saker, Golden, Overclock, and Ngolo. Okay, so if we res this, we can't score the agenda, so we can't afford to res it. Swap Thimble Rig. No. Maybe? It's so bad. This is so bad. There's 4 agendas and 7. You would say the Nisei is pretty safe. They're going to be on 2 credits next turn. The precog did nothing. Like, we have to seamless this once. You're not resing it anyways. But this they have to break. Like, they actually, it costs credits. I think we'd swap it with the Enigma, if anything. Could cost them 2 credits. I don't know. I don't know if we swap here. I think we just, like, not have credits for a bit, I guess. We have 3 Nisei and we're upset. At least we got a Restoring Humanity dollar. It's been so good. Now again, half of R&D is agendas, and there's no more Obokatas. Not that they know it. Like, if they respect Obokata, they're going to draw it before they get a single. That's also why they broke the Pathonymous for sure. Not that they shouldn't break the Pathonymous. Dang it, our money. Now, if we do top deck an agenda, we have to protect it. And we have 2 Nisei counters and a boat, and their economy is not amazing. At that point, it'll be good enough, but we probably lose here on R&D. And if we do, I will not be upset. So the Enigma swap wouldn't have done anything here. Pathonymous doing its work. 2 bow counters. Come on. Still card short from Obo. There's no more Obo's D-line. Please. Still in it. Swap Thimble Rig. I think we do. No, because then they run R&D as many times as they want. Do we swap it off of it? Like, we might want to swap it off it to, like, enforce the remote server, but we know this is not agenda. So there's only 6 cards in R&D, and there's 3 agendas and 6. So we just have to pray. I think we just pray. In terms of trashables, how many trashables? There's one Rashida, which is a trashable. There is no Spin Doctor, no NGO front. So there is one trashable and 6 cards. I don't know, Izzy. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't... Like, they know we can't res the Anansi. No matter what we... Like, this only matters if... Thinking. Oh. Okay, so this is only going to be relevant if the top card is a Rashida, which is a 1 in 6. If it's not a Rashida and it's an agenda, we lose. So we might as well swap it. That was the Rashida. That's honestly good, I think, maybe. How much money do we need to install? We need to do draw, install, credit. Ah! The 4 twos are the bottom 5 cards of the deck? What is this? If we do draw, jam, we'll be a credit short. The fact now that we don't have the thimble rig on R&D is so bad. At least we can jam the Rashida. No, but then we like deck ourselves. And then HQ is super soft. Like we can't draw the Rashida. We can just hope the Rashida baits. I think that's the play we have, is hope the Rashida baits. We should have done that faster with more conviction. Oh, this is terrible. Spending 2 credits on a side game feels bad. Scrub, I know. If we had one more, if we just spent 1, if we were like, we're not cowards. You only need 3 credits with seamless. Yeah, exactly. We're 1 credit short. Otherwise, I would have drawn jammed, but we were 1 credit short because we can't overdraw. Oh, they did see it. You're right. They did see the Rashida and chose not to trash it. Yeah, so you're right. This has a different line. I forgot that they saw it. It's harder to remember in person, but still, they might think that this is the agenda. Like we did break lock. Again, are there 3 off-world offices in the bottom 5? It looks like that is what's happening today. Yeah. They have only 4 clicks. They got no Beth value. Daily cast is now a click for a credit 3 turns later. Endurance is down at 1. R&D is very easy to run. It's in fact free. All right, they're going HQ. Love it. Love it. Give me a credit. Come on. Let it fire. Yes! Okay, now they have to break the Bathonomist, but now we actually have credits. Now, they're not going to see the Rashida, and that might scare them. If they saw the Rashida, they'd be like, oh, maybe we don't have to run this. We're going to lose to R&D here. Here on R&D, we will lose the game. It is 60% chance that we lose the game. Do we ever just Nisei Mark II this? Because they can run it. They can't run it twice more, but then we don't have a remote server. Do you need? I don't know. I don't know if we do. Hey, Clayton, thinking. I don't know if we do. Because let's think about it. Imagine a world in which every Nisei Mark II is fired here. How much money will they have? They'll just click for credits and then they can run their remote server. I think there's a rule about shallow dives. Deep dive on 5 cards would be hilarious. Oh, you might be right. There might be a deep dive here. Can they get in again? Yeah, they can. They can with Ngolo. No, they can't. Yeah, I think you're right. It might be a deep dive. It's a shallow dive. Interesting. Maybe the HQ run was for deep dive. Yeah. I didn't pay enough attention when they drew. So if I think we can Nisei once here, maybe. Because if they have to get back, they have to break the Bathonomist, which is going to be paint. Break. That's 3. They can just go back. F it. I've done that much math. I've done enough math that I've counted to 3. But now at least they can't deep dive, which, you know, 100% we lose to that. No, you can deep dive if there's less than 8 cards. I think it's the top 8 cards. So I think you just do as much as you can. That's interesting. Can you? I honestly don't have a strong opinion. I would feel like yes. You think it would have been a good idea to put the border control and R&D with Thimble? No, because then I don't know how we win. Like, I don't know how we win in the remote server. We don't have the border control. Okay, so they have 1 run here that they can spend 3 credits. Or they could just flatline. That'd be fine too, I guess. Just flatline. What? Oh. What? Huh? That means that there's 3 agendas in the bottom 4 cards. So we don't fire the... Do we fire the Rashida? If we fire the Rashida, we'll have... No, we can't fire the Rashida. We'll have all the agendas. That seems bad. We're still going to list R&D, y'all. Ike. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so there's... No matter what, we can get agenda in service 6. The problem is we need to draw exactly 1 agenda and then have the next card on D be exactly the unagenda, the non-agenda. So to do draw, install, well, then we can hedge fund, which reses the Anansi. And then Anansi Bathynomus is reasonable. Hold the phone. Agenda off the top! We had such a good line. We had such a good line when we draw the agenda, jam it, and Hansei for 6. So we can res the Nazi on R&D and actually have a game here. Oh my lord. What is this? This is the worst game in Netrunner. So now they win 100% because R&D is only agendas. How do we stop that from happening? We Nisei it every time. Ugh. Buckle up, y'all, because we have to survive on every server. This is the worst draw in any game. Thomas, it has been absolutely revolting. You know how good of a play we would have if we ripped the agenda so we could res a Nancy into Bathynomus on R&D when they had 3 credits? Oh, they're deep diving us? No. If they run R&D, we lose. That's the problem. Phantom, how's it going? Fire all? So it's not a deep dive. We know that. We should have known that before they hit the Nancy. They let the Tithe fire. Yeah, it probably wasn't a deep dive. May have been worth switching again. This turn. Yeah, you're right. It may have been worth switching this turn. I think you're right. I think you are right. Yeah, we probably should have switched. I don't think it's going to matter. It would have mattered. Actually, switching actually might have won us the game. But then we thought we were going to res the Anansi. So no, we didn't know. In hindsight, we thought we were going to like draw an agenda, Hansei review the Anansi up. So we shouldn't have switched. Okay, well, this is an agenda. Now, if we had a Thimble Rig here, if they ran it, we could always put the border control in R&D. That's actually kind of cool. That probably would have been worth looking at. I hate this so much. This is the worst game of Netrunner anyone's ever played. GG. That last turn, 4 cards in R&D, wanted to rip agenda, install it in server 6, Hansei to res Nancy on R&D, drew the last non-agenda. Oh my. They still wanted to gamble last turn so you could res a Nancy? No, because then we 100% lose. Like, even if we res the Anansi, they break the Anansi maybe once. They know it's the Anansi, but then, like, we're not jamming at server 6, and then next turn there's an agenda in HQ, like 2 agendas in... Well, if we res the Anansi, we don't win. I don't think. Right? Like, if we have to jam, otherwise we're holding the agenda in hand, and they'll run HQ maybe once. Maybe we can get lucky there. Yeah, maybe. But then they run R&D, and then if you res the Anansi, as long as they can break the Anansi once, we still lose. And they can break the Nazi once. So they Nazi once and then both through that. No, so we still lose there. It was the best we had. I still think it's a losing line. Don't think they have the money. Oh, they just run archives once and then they'll have a bow counter and then they run R&D and they get a bow counter. I think they had enough bow counters. Yeah. Thimble for Enigma would have given a shot. Thimble for Enigma. I think Thimble on R&D was actually reasonable because when they break the Thimble rig, we could swap it with the border control. The problem is if we do that play, then I think they can run this remote server relatively easy because it's just an unresable Anansi and Enigma. So I think everything comes at such a big cost. I think if we drew in like any different order, we had a chance, but oh, that was pulling teeth the first turns. Thanks, game. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not playing Netrunner tomorrow. I'm done. We'll have spoilers up later. Hey, Saltmere, I know. I res the nonce. I'm like, I know this is gonna get de-res. Whatever. Let's see it happen. I know at the end of the day, like that was the best bird deck, and it's still not amazing. But Diana's Hunt, that one Diana's Hunt was like fine. It was okay to fine. It was all right. Good game, man. That was really funny. We're gonna be on Saturday. We'll be streaming again. It's the Eternal tournament. It'll be streamed not here, but on Null Signal Netrunner. If you want to go over to their Twitch channel, again, link in the description, and give them a follow. Has this been playing the whole time? No, it's a paused ad. That's fine. The Eternal tournament will be streamed, let alone you can play in it. It's free and it's really fun. And if you don't know Eternal and you don't know, even if you don't know the format at all and you want to be brave and you have like a free Saturday, go over to this channel. It's Métropole Grid. What you want to do here, there's a button. Actually, I don't see it, but it's probably around here. It says subscribe. It's a really good one. And then you go to the live tab, which is new. Thanks for the stream / I'm sorry. And then you go to this one that's called Returnal. And here is a stream I did 2 weekends ago with Jeff playing Eternal. And you go hit the more button. There's a lot of steps here. And then you go to this document, which I'll link below this video, and it'll give you a bunch of deck lists posted by Benoit G, Giles Davis, and a lot of them for Usengrin that are just decks you can play in Eternal. So even if you know Eternal, you don't know the deck pool, I'd recommend if you have some fun, excuse me, let me try that again. I think if you have some time on a Saturday, you can play and have fun. Even if you don't know any of the meta, you'll figure out what the cards are, and it's actually pretty quite fun. Somebody posted some shell script there. That's it. We'll be back on Saturday, and then on Thursday again. It won't be streamed here. It'll be streamed on the Null Signal Games channel. And again, tune into the website because we're gonna have spoiler stuff coming up pretty soon. New set in a bit. That's all. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you had a good time hanging out. Don't play this deck. There's definitely better versions of it. And we'll be around. Thanks for streaming. Yo, Fatarian. Thanks for dropping by. Izzy, cheers. Thanos, cheers. Salmi, cheers. Steven as well. Have a good week, y'all. Maybe we'll see you on Saturday. If not, we'll be back on Thursday. Take care.